And now, live from the Man Cave, Studio B, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night exposing lies rant with co-hosts. Patrick Acton is in the house. How you doing, Patrick? We love you, brother. Dean McBride, we love this guy too. Tisha Jones, we really love her. Tisha. Yours truly, Larry Parsons. This is my brain. And now, Mr. Constipation himself, Jeremy Scott Gibbs.
Wow, calls me Mr. Constipation and can't get the names right. Would you go to an American school? Did you go to an American school? Is that what you did? School here in Michigan? You learned writing and arithmetic? Writing and arithmetic.
Oh my God.
I can't turn on 15 for you. You have to do it right there. This guy.
Y'all are screaming in my ear. Let me turn this down.
Yeah, turn that down.
I finally have ears.
It was those earbuds that you literally had. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Okay.
It was literally that.
Okay.
Got
Makes
it
a lot
now?
of sense.
And of course, this stupid ass thing is not going to do what it was doing all day yesterday. I got to see if this shot is correct before we go. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're still there. We're still on the
On the open?
There we go.
I was doing a little work over there, and of course, I bumped the camera, and so now the camera was not on as far as that.
Gotcha.
But now it's good, and so there we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Let's see if that works. It does. We're a little hot in the lights. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Larry, are you monitoring chat, or are you playing with your phone?
Playing with his phone.
He's playing with his phone.
Of course.
I just like to call him out because
He
jumps over
out.
there.
He has a lower laugh when he's guilty.
And, well, for some reason we don't have live feed tonight on my Facebook page again.
I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's that default where it says default Facebook default.
It's our lovely faces.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get that figured out. That's not that important.
It is important to you, Larry, and therefore it's important to me.
Yeah, because I want that.
Yeah, look at that.
I want that algorithm.
Algorithm. Look at that.
The algorithm.
Then post the post the.
Did we create the Facebook?
I did.
Post the
the link is always
post for Rumble, May. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time.
I'll try it right now.
I'm curious to know why the F-bomb's in front of me already. I mean,
It should probably be in front of me.
Just,
Everybody knows.
It's going to be a good night.
It's got to sit right here because between Dino and I, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially as the people that are
Sure.
drinking green drinks. I mean, drinking green
What's
drinks.
wrong
Yeah,
with
right.
blue curacao and Mountain Dew?
Not a.
It makes a green drink.
It's like
It's
fucking
amazing.
diesel.
It's an Irish drink, whatever it is.
It's fun. That's what it is.
It's fun.
See, it already
It's an
happened.
upper mixed with a downer, and eventually I'll be just fine.
Okay.
This is the type of fun things that I like. I had this thing working perfectly,
And it's not working now.
and now it's just dumb, just fucking dumb.
Shit
Well, what the
happens.
problem is right now. Okay, so right now, I made it so that the thing was I had enough space to scroll. Right now, I have to be so careful to scroll up the side to get to the buttons that are down here to push them. And it's just dumb. Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. Larry has moved over there. Yeah.
I have.
He's chatting on his phone. What's the picture over there, Larry? Which one is it? Right there. Wait, it didn't push.
There is
There.
there is a reason why Larry sits over there now.
Because he got in trouble.
No, because after dinner, some
There
of the
I am.
smells that come out of him are pretty.
Oh yeah,
You know, I was
This
going to
is very
say,
true.
something smells like shit.
very
No.
true.
But I love you, Larry.
There's Larry. All right, we can take it off your face now, Larry.
Take it off my face now.
Off your face.
Okay,
Get your face off.
there you go. Now what do you do? The rails camera's out.
Yeah.
Huh? See,
Weird stuff. No, you know what? There's something over top of it. Guarantee it.
there's something over the top of it.
Go back to the table cam. That's good. All right, we'll go with that.
We'll go back to the
Because they're both on. They're both green, so there's something going on. Yeah, rail cam's back on. Look at it.
it's back on now.
It's back on as soon as we're not on it.
There you go.
Dumb.
Gremlins.
Damn.
It's
Damn.
it's
Anyways, where are we going? Larry is not pooping. No, we were somewhat ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm reading the chat.
Don't read the chat.
Don't read the chat.
We really are like hitting it very hard off the top, aren't we?
Yes, we're
Like,
yeah.
That's why the
We're on a
F-bombs over
roll,
there.
a crescent fucking roll. And I would say that that the show is not brought to you by, but it is certainly fueled by, at least for me. I gotta find it. I made a button. I made a button. I made a button. Where's it at?
Is it on this one?
Right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
look.
look at that one.
Aw.
And that is, I was supposed to take it off of, it was supposed to go to just that camera, and it didn't do it. So, no, not that button, dumbass.
This one.
Now I got to scroll back down without touching it.
This is my favorite painting I've ever done.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There. Now it's full screen.
Yes.
There we go. You like that over there? You can see the fish tank. You can see the movies over there. You can see some of the
Serrano.
that. Well, that was the whole point. Larry.
Yeah.
That's the whole point there, buddy. Let's see. All right, let's go back to table shot. Having too much fun with the shots and then not knowing where to push the
There
button
you
on them.
The
Having
shots.
fun with
What-
shots
yeah.
for sure.
What kind of shots? We got a little lineup over here.
Yeah.
Nice
No,
lineup.
we're talking about.
When you
Sorry. When I said shots, I meant camera shots, camera angles.
I'm
not,
thinking shots of booze. I mean, look at this.
well, yeah, look,
we got a nice lineup.
We got to go over there.
Yep.
Anyways, so there we are, guys. Right off the bat, there's a bunch of you in the chat there. Hit the thumbs up, and for all you liberals watching,
You should probably stop now.
no. Hit the thumbs up, and then you can leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Share too.
There you go,
Please.
yes.
Yeah, do that.
Share the video.
Subscribe. We
Yeah,
want you here.
subscribe.
Yeah, all of you that you can.
Just
hit
don't
that
push your
thumbs up,
stupid
please.
bullshit over what we're trying to get out.
Exactly. What you got, Larry?
We don't
I
plan to
said
argue
until
with you, I
everybody-
promise.
Am I hearing your phone?
No, you can't hear my.
What am I
not
hearing over
mine.
there? I was hearing something. I was hearing more noise.
Oh,
My phone's on vibrate, I promise.
Let's see. Okay, so I got to push that button back to. See, this is where I'm figuring out how to do stuff.
We haven't even gotten to number 2.
That's what Larry's doing.
That's what Larry's doing
Yeah,
in the booth.
yeah. I'm still trying to
So
figure
we
out why
slide,
why this iPad is doing what it's doing. I had it to where I could scroll easily up the side
Yeah.
and didn't have to do this, and now I have to look. If I don't gingerly just barely touch the side and scroll down to the ones that I want,
Do you need a?
I'll hit
what are
the
those
button
things?
that's right there, and it'll switch to that shot, and it's not the shot I want.
Do you need a status thing?
And I
Stylus?
can contest to this because he
I have
is
a
my
stylus.
boss, and he spends hours and hours dialing this stuff in.
And
Right.
Boys and
And then
girls,
it does
Well,
your shit.
it's
For those of you in the
yeah.
for those of you in chat or for those of you watching the show, you realize I did not that you didn't see the countdown until I looked over and saw that there was a green screen over there, and I'm like, what? Or not a green screen, a black screen, and I'm like, what the hell? The camera for some reason shut off,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
and on the broadcast.
You know,
That's
like that
fun.
thing on YouTube.
Larry,
Are you
I don't need your
still
fart noises
Right.
over there at the beginning of the show.
would you like a stylus? Would that make it easier for you to hit the thing?
No, it's it's
Okay.
weird, and I had it to where I reduced the
He's still
buttons.
trying to touch buttons,
I'm
but
still trying. Look
he's
at
screwing things up.
it. Just I'm like I don't know. Larry, stop it. You're
I don't
4.
even know why I brought my stylus. But I just.
It's just
there.
it's dangerous.
See,
Larry
I
just
did
wants
it.
attention over there.
I did it.
I know
There's
what you
the
want.
first F-bomb.
Oh,
We all
Yogi
knew it
Lou's
was
in
gonna be
there.
Tisha.
We need to get a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be
Londa.
a good idea.
Good to see you, Londa. I like your post with the Trump bikers for Trump.
nice to see you,
Yes.
Londa.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. We came in 4 bars into the song. Yeah, I was like, why is there? Why? I'm not seeing it over there. And I'm like, oh, you stupid computer. Because I had it all set. When I hit live, it was good to go. No. I don't get them. No. Anyway, all right, let's get started. I'll quit complaining.
Computer, AI. It's got its own AI in it. Its own ideas as how to do
It
things.
is.
For those of you that are watching us on Rumble, you can log in and join the chat and participate in the show.
You can go to your
Yeah. So if you're just watching, if you just clicked on the link online or something and you're just watching, you can create a account real quick and make up a screen name.
clicking over immediately to Larry when I push that button. I forgot to add two. When you do this stuff, you have to add buttons.
Add
Excuse me.
You had to add commands to the buttons. So it's got to switch the shot to what I want. It's got to switch to that on the ATEM. It's got to switch to this on that and that on that.
Right.
And I didn't do it.
No.
I blame the intern.
Who's the intern?
Not me.
So this is a exposing lies rant. I want to see all these lies exposed from 9/11 to. I mean, we're not even talking about the Gulf of Tonkin or some of the other stuff. We could talk about the USS Liberty.
Man.
We could talk about all this stuff. But I'm just watching. There was a great interview with this guy.
The wrong night to show up.
The
No, I'm just kidding.
9/11. This guy got on Tucker Carlson and was talking to former congressman. We'll get into that story. It was a great little interview. Not little interview. It was a great interview. I mean, Tucker gets a couple million. We get 10. So it's on par. But he's got a multi-million-dollar studio, in his house. We've got 35,000 into this one, so it's all good.
Hey, but we put on an excellent show.
We do.
Yes,
Even with the faux pas, even with the problems.
Even with the
It
crazy
wouldn't,
kids.
wouldn't be as much
we got-
fun if we
we
didn't have a
endure-
little challenge here. and there.
Endure a thunderstorm and a few other things now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we
Uh,
do have a crappy Supreme Court ruling out of the state of Michigan to talk about a little bit later, too.
Oh,
Okay.
for the love.
We
We'll
got
get
love
into
some.
that, but most important thing we need to talk about right now is dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Do you want to give us
So-
your recap there?
Dinner was awesome, man. I mean, we had lamb shanks,
Yeah.
and scallops and squash. The squash was the best part for me.
Was it?
I like squash.
I
Yep.
did. And you know what?
Just a little butter on it and some cinnamon. And
Yeah. And I've been messing that up lately. Yogi just says no sound.
Mm.
Double check because nobody else is saying anything, and
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive to this now. Because it's dumb shit. Anyways, but I the last 3 or 4 times that I've done the butternut squash, I put it in for an hour. It's normal.
Mhm.
Not done.
The last 3 or 4 times.
There we go. Yeah, we're good.
Hey, sound.
All right,
Good.
then tell Alonda it's good. Thanks, Tim, for 5x5 there. Papa Bear says, Papa Bob, Papa Bear Bob, Bob, Papa Bob, Bear Bob. Bob says there's sound.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, somebody
Bob's got
did.
it.
Anyways, so today I threw it in with an hour and I said, I'm not messing around today. This stuff is going to be like mush. So I put I kicked the convection button on the oven.
Sure.
And 10 minutes to 7, I'm like, it's just like, yeah, it's like butter. Like the butter I put in it, it was just
Yeah.
soft. And how did you
Okay, I am not a squash person.
Yeah.
I can't. Like I have a texture thing, and I just
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
But I promised you that I would try most things.
I appreciate
tonight,
that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I did. It wasn't bad. Yeah.
Good. How about the lamb?
Oh,
Did you like the lamb?
listen, I can't eat the red parts that you guys all eat.
Yeah, you
gave me the well done little corner.
With a little bit
Oh.
of char on it.
So good.
And you are
I don't mind
no
lamb.
matter what it is. You're like, can you throw my steak back on until it's burnt?
Right. Yeah.
And I go, okay, I'll do that. Just
I
to be
like
nice.
mine crucified.
Charred
Thank you.
steak.
Yeah.
I put up a did I send you that? Is that you and meme, I think?
You may
about
have.
how-
You know what
How
happened with
well
my
done-
phone?
Oh yeah. How well done is for good and faithful servants,
Yes.
not for me.
Yes.
But
I did like that one.
I digress.
Say that again so everybody hears that one.
So the meme just says, well done is for good and faithful servants, not for meat.
That's what I say. I want the Lord to say, well done, but for me, I'll say medium rare.
There you go. Same thing, exactly. But yes, I like meat well done, and I found the one little corner that was a little on the charred side, and
but it did.
was
How'd you like?
so
That was the
good.
first time I ever. Vicky picked up these lamb shanks, and they've been in the freezer for a while. And I thawed them out the other day, and I said, I got to cook these up. I got to see what they're about. And you know, you can only leave stuff in the freezer for 6 months to a year before it starts to get.
Right.
You know, these were vacuum packaged and everything like that. So, but I looked up the recipe and it was pretty straightforward. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't adjust for my grill, and my grill is a beast. Like when I say grill it on a certain, that's for most grills. Well, my grill's a commercial infrared charbroiler. It doesn't mean commercial doesn't mean it's huge. It just means that's the series commercial infrared. So there's no direct flame. The box inside gets to well over 700 degrees. Sometimes I can hit 750 in the box. So when you throw anything on it, that's why I love doing steaks on it. You've had the steaks, Patrick. Dino's had the steak. Tisha's had the steaks.
Yeah.
It just instantly sears that.
Right.
And then I don't even gauge steaks by, I know my grill well enough. I don't gauge steaks and a few other things that I put on there by checking the temperature. I know how long by the thickness that puppy's going to take. And I'm watching it. And then I wait for it. And then I put all the seasonings on the steak, and I take it and I flip the steak onto a plate. And then I put the steak on the grill, and I take everything that fell off the one side of the steak and I scrape it onto the back of the steak and swish it around with the spatula real quick. And then I let that sear up again. Yeah. And so you get most of the.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah,
the flavor gets.
Instead of wasting all those spices, you know, because they just dump in the grill. This way, you're saving them.
So because I'm putting Worcestershire, garlic, real minced garlic, Montreal, and then I put pats of butter on the whole thing. You know, thin sliced pats of butter on it, and so it's just a juice pile on the top of that steak. And so I'm like, I can't keep flipping this over and dumping everything into the grates. Right. I got to do something. So I started flipping them onto the plate, and then you scoop in there, and most of the stuff, comes off, and you put it in there, and you put the rest on. And then I stick the plate on top of the grill and let it heat up so that when I pull the steak, it's a hot plate. Yeah. And then I can do a really good medium rare because the plate keeps the steak warm. One of the reasons I a lot of times will have to go with a medium, like more of a medium steak, is because it's cooling down by the time I get through it. You've had a couple of them recently with me, and it's I'll get a porterhouse, and I'll cut it so that he gets half and I get half, and we're just like, dude, now that works. But if I'm sitting there, and I'll take down a porterhouse every once in a while all by myself, and when I'm doing that, by the time I get to the bone, most of the time the bone will keep it somewhat warm, but there's other times where I can't wait. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I can't wait, and I got to go right for that meat right next to the bone, and I'm eating it. And then I've got these beautiful cuts on the outside that I haven't messed with yet, and they're cooling off. And I'm like, dude. And I have cheated. There's been a few times where I've cheated, where I've gone over and like threw it in the microwave for 30 seconds just to get a little bit of warmth. You just busted my bubble, man, with the microwave thing. Wow. Just give a little, just stir it up a little bit. Well, if I don't eat it all, I'm going to reheat it in the microwave.
Throw it back on the grill again. Toast it up.
True, but
let me tell you something. I had 2 microwaves in my kitchen, and they both blew within a month of each other. And I haven't replaced either one of them, and I'm not missing it at all.
Wow. Well, you get used to not having it. You're good to go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we can go down a rabbit hole on that whole thing with frequency and the way that them things work, but we're not going there.
Yeah. So I learned the lamb shanks. I needed to adjust my grill because my grill is so much hotter. It said put it on the grill, preheated grill. No, a heated grill. I don't know why they say preheat your oven. No, just heat your oven to the correct temperature. Right. Preheat it. I'm going to heat it before I heat it. I'm going to heat it before I heat it. I'm going to heat it before I heat it. Anyways, it said throw it on the grill, and then every 15 minutes come out there and turn it and baste it again with this was I don't know if you guys noticed, it was honey and lemon was the basting mixture on the outside coating of it. Yeah. So I went out there after 15 minutes, and it's already, the one side was already that blackened char on there, and it's not bad because it has a skin. Yeah. And so it really kind of just charred up that skin, which was easily, you peel that off.
That was good too.
She loved it. So then from that point on, I was like, I was going out like every 8-10 minutes and rolling, stand up on the end. I'm like, okay.
Right.
And then I was like really hopeful. I'm like, and I took my first bite and I was like, okay. And then I had one of those more rare pieces on the inside. And because they say you only got to get it to, I think it was 135, which is pretty low. That's where you would start with the lamb.
I did. Well, with chicken, I think it's
165.
165.
Yeah. And so, but this lamb and said, get it to at least. No, it was 125. I had the recipe. 120. It said when your internal hits 125,
it's supposed to be not quite down in the middle.
When your internal hits 125, then you make a decision at that point, and it said, I think it said for every 10 degrees would be another 20 minutes.
Okay.
Or something like that. But they're not my grill. my grill. Another 20 degrees is like yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay. So then I pulled them off and I'm like, man, that was that medium or that rare, almost rare in there. I said to you guys, I said it tasted like a prime rib to me.
I had a piece like that. It was just really pink.
And I wasn't into lamb for a long time because a lot of people don't cook it right and you get that gaminess.
It's so hard. To balance it out.
Yeah.
And there was a couple scallops in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all had those on your own. That is the one thing I didn't eat. Sorry, guys.
That was another one Vicky picked up.
Fishy kind of
I'm not a seafood anything person.
She picked up the scallops. Well, we talked about on the show that you got to check to see if they're actual scallops or whether they're stingray.
Yeah.
They punch holes. They punch out the little cookie shapes out of the stingrays, and then they sell them as scallops. And you're like, what? Versus being an actual scallop. Look it up.
No, I'm not looking it up.
We've looked it up before. Anyways, that was a good one because it was butter, garlic, and some lemon, and you just get them seared on the sides and see it. They just melt.
I gotta go back to your mushrooms, man. Like, it's for every meal that you normally do, and I know I talk about this a lot about Boss. His beef tips with the sauce, gravy, and the mushrooms. It's an easy make with egg noodles, but still. That dinner goes over well with all men and women over everything else.
Dude.
Oh, man. You can't walk away from it.
I'm amazed.
You got 3 plates before you know it.
I love making it, and I love eating it, but I'm amazed at the reaction. And I go, man, this is awesome. And I go, okay, it's lemon pepper, butter, mushrooms, beef, and cream of mushroom soup.
Synchronized in that.
Like that's the only spices in the whole thing is lemon pepper and butter.
But is there
it's stuff I'm not supposed to have, but it's so good.
An orchestration to how
I saute up the mushrooms separately together. Like I did tonight.
Right.
And then I put those in. I saute up you actually saw me. I melted up my butter and lemon pepper and I stirred that all up and then I put it in the beef. I had some small cut. We found 2 packages of beef that was already small cut. Yep. And don't get stew meat. Get like a what do they call that? It would be normally like a fajita strip type of meat. That's a little more tender.
Sure.
It's not a stew where you got to really cook it down. I've done it with stew, and the way that I cook it, it doesn't get it soft enough. It doesn't get it tender enough. But you get the stuff that's more like a fajita or something like that, where it gets whatever the cut is. It gets tender quicker. And then I put those with the melted butter and the lemon pepper and I stirred it all up, stuck in the fridge for an hour and a half.
Sure.
And then start cooking it,
Nice.
And then it's just over a bed of egg noodles. You pour the cream.
There's some kind of a marination that you do with this or let it time for it to
I get the mushrooms.
I
get the mushrooms cooked. Yeah. I get the beef cooked.
Yeah.
Then I dump the mushrooms in and then I pour in how many ever cans of cream of mushroom soup that I like. And then I just keep stirring that until everybody's ready to eat.
Nice.
Turns out fucking.
I'm sorry, this sounds better than Martha Stewart. But
I don't know. But the mushrooms
we don't always go into great detail with
of course
with the show. Yeah,
mushrooms are always.
And Patrick's signature salad.
Rabbit food.
That added strawberries this time. Okay.
I love it. I told him
strawberries, zucchinis, all kinds of peppers and onions that I can't have, but they look good in it.
Right.
And then the salad itself is top notch. So
anytime he throws in the strawberries and the sweet peppers, all the different colored sweet peppers, I'm like, you got me. Yeah. And I forgot, I normally grab my cheese. I normally grab some shredded cheese out of the fridge and throw on top of it. Because Patrick brings it to us just so we can doctor it ourselves.
Not everybody likes the cheese. So.
Right. No, exactly. And he brings, 3 or 4 dressings.
Sometimes I bring croutons.
Oh, yeah. That's another one. Croutons.
That would have been really good.
Yeah. So good food, good times. That's what I love. I love to cook. I was listening to.
It's a good way to start this off. And there's only one challenge to it. Sometimes I pay too much and I get here and I'm like, I went downstairs to get my mug and I popped 2 papayas. Been taking those papaya. You ever take those? Yeah. They're chewable papaya to help your digestion, to help your stomach. Okay. Yeah. So like an enzyme?
Yeah. And instead of having to do a half a shot of or a quarter shot of apple cider vinegar every time, which
can be better.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy that I don't have his name, but it had researched the apricot seed and researched papaya and understood that, whatever the cyanide level of whatever, and they say that kills you and such, he was like, no, actually the decent measurement of these seeds of cyanide is actually what kills some of your cancers.
Exactly. It's in proportion to the seed.
Right. That's the way God designed it. That's your health pill.
Started taking wormwood.
Yeah, wormwood's good.
Yep. Yeah, and sweet black walnut hull.
Yep.
Okay, I've tried that.
And I, with a little dropper type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just kind of shot some under my tongue.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Straight to your system.
Yeah. That stuff will pucker your asshole.
I'm trying to switch over. There's so many products coming out now in gummy form. I'm trying to switch over to the gummy form. I can't stand pills. I got up this morning and I took my turmeric, my nitric boost, and there was 2 other things I did, and they were all pills. And I was just like, it's torture trying to swallow.
Well, the problem is I've had it happen. I actually went to see a doctor twice in my life because I got a pill stuck in my throat.
Okay.
And it's like there. You can't swallow it down. I slammed a whole thing like that of water. Just trying to get this thing down.
I have a migraine med that is so dry that it gets stuck in my throat every single time I take it.
For your migraine pill?
Yeah. It's like this big around and this thick. And then it's so dry, and every single time.
Yeah, and other people they go, well, drink a little bit before. I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
I had like a half a gallon of water before I take it.
Let it go down slowly and get stuck in the side of my esophagus.
That's it.
I've gagged it up more than once. It's so bad.
I actually went in and got an image of my esophagus when you drink this
coffee.
Yeah. No. It was a radiographic.
Oh, radio.
Okay.
Ultrasonic
X-ray. Fluoro. It did a fluoro.
Okay.
They drink this solution, and after I was done, the doctor that was involved with it, personal friend, he says, "You want my honest opinion?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Stop eating such large frickin' pills."
Wow.
What the hell does it matter? Your esophagus is fine.
Went against the pharmacy.
Yeah.
I had, I had a similar thing. I had a similar thing when I was younger, and I was in a band, and so I was always concerned about my voice and about everything like that.
You were in a band?
Shut up, Larry.
Never.
Are you awake over there?
No,
I didn't.
Who are we talking to?
Yeah. I'm not used to it.
Hey, your camera went off.
Larry talks all the time.
Power it back on. Anyway, so I went in to do a similar thing. And they just did a scope down there, and they're like, nothing wrong with your throat. I'm like, then why does food get caught?
Yeah.
I'll get food caught. And they're like, well, you should eat slower. I'm like, dude, it has nothing to do with eating slower. Sometimes every once in a while food gets caught.
Right.
And I started saying stuff. My mom had that every once in a while. And my grandmother and I were up north in UP. We're at a Burger King eating dinner. And I'm telling her, I said, Grandma, have you ever had anything get caught in your throat? And she's like, oh, yeah. It's kind of weird. All of a sudden it gets caught. And
Yeah.
and had to go to the bathroom,
No,
stick
it
her
happens
finger
to
down her
me.
throat, and I'm like, yeah. And what they say is that,
happens.
or what I found out doing my own research. I know that's an abomination to CNN, but doing my own research, they is that if it happens enough, you start to have a like an what they call it, not an ulcer. Well, an ulcer. It starts to push in a certain spot in your esophagus. It starts to create a little pocket. Yeah. And then you're more and more prone to it. Yeah. And so I worked for the last 3-4 years to really make sure that I wasn't eating too fast and that I wasn't stressing, because I've had it to times where it was just stress and you just tighten up. Yeah. You know? And so, but it's crazy. People, I mean, if you get stuff stuck, it's weird. It's weird. I see. Is that our buddy from Alaska saying he's home, Larry, in the chat? Are you watching the chat?
A little far.
It happens to me.
So
that part. You know.
So I'm sitting in his boardroom in Indianapolis at a doctor's clinic that I had to do a presentation in with a pill stuck in my throat from that morning. And I was talking about it. The next thing you know, they had this physician's assistant come in with one of those scopes to look in my mouth.
Yeah.
She's looking down my throat to see if she can find it. The tip of the damn thing falls off into my throat, and that gets stuck. I'm like, so I got this. I'm like,
how did you not like that?
You lost your mic.
That's awesome. Oh man, your antics and your theatrics right now.
I finally had to pick up and flies across the table.
I fixed it, Doc. It's good. I can go home now.
Visit,
Write me off. Sign me off.
Yeah, welcome home, Clayton. I think you're gonna come hang with us soon, buddy. So let's get through this. We're already
Just one quick note.
What do you got?
I eat lamb a lot at Easter with my family up north.
Okay.
But there was a pastor from West Virginia.
Okay.
That does a whole sermon series called "Eat More Lamb."
Really?
It's a whole spiritual side of the.
Eat more lamb, huh?
Yep.
That's wild.
Dr. Lynn Hiles.
Okay. It's definitely tasty, dude. And when I found out how to do the lamb chops, they're just little dudes. Mm-hmm. And those are the same thing where you're best to use them on cast iron. And there's different seasonings that you can do, but I mean, a butter with garlic is pretty straightforward. Classic. And you literally, you.
They use mint sauce a lot, don't they?
Yeah, there was a mint. They called for mint in this one, and I didn't have any mint, so that was missing. You guys didn't notice. But
that's what we have up north.
You take the chops and you get your cast iron up to good temp. Mm-hmm. And then you put the butter and the garlic on there, and within like 30 seconds of that starting to sizzle, or it'll sizzle immediately, you pop the lamb chop on there right in that garlic butter. And you let it sear for maybe a minute and a half. You flip it over, you sear it again for maybe a minute and a half. You pull it off, you're pretty much done. Because that searing, depending on the thickness, that searing you put it on like a hot plate or a plate that's warmed, and that searing moves its way through. You let it sit for like 5 minutes, and it moves its way through. And by the time you cut into it, it's this perfect medium rare, and just tastes. It's just awesome. It's awesome. All right, let's do this before we get too long in the tooth here. I will do this one myself since I didn't pull up Grandma. And this isn't all. I must have uploaded an old one, but it is what it is, and so we'll take it. Notice this podcast is raw, unfiltered, politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas, the Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service. Thank you, Larry, and for all those in the audience. We only recognize two genders, dangle, no dangle, if you don't know the difference. One of the clips that I want to play, or I'm going to keep playing from Grandma, she's like, check your equipment. Pretty straightforward.
That's right.
That's right. As adults, we enjoy adult beverages. Cheers. Cheers. Larry doesn't get to get in this one because he's drinking tea.
That's right.
We cuss. We do not curse or swear. We try not to curse or swear. We do pledge allegiance, which is close to swearing allegiance. But we pledge allegiance. It's a little bit different. Jose. And cursing is the opposite of blessing. But cussing is when we drop an F-bomb. That's the difference. People, and I listen to so many people saying them interchangeably, and I just
cringe.
And then I hear them
It's
correct
cringy.
somebody else, and I go, "Really? You're going to correct somebody else?"
The
and
Lord
stuff?
does say about that profane tongue, Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
My pastor
Well,
did
and
a
there's
thing
a
on
different-
that.
Profane tongue, but it's like, okay, a lot of people take this out of context. And they go, oh man, well, it's got to fit just the way that this says right here. And I'm like, no, I think you're missing it.
Yeah.
All right. Slow down there.
Right. And
Speed
Slow
racer.
your roll.
and you know what? These passages that talk about it says, put away all coarse language from your lips and speak truth to every man. And I go, okay. And I've listened to people that don't cuss that have extremely negative,
a more coarse tongue than
coarse tongue, just bitter,
Meat
just
pleasure.
resentful. And I'm like, okay,
That's
you
exactly
you don't cuss, but you're a mean bitch. Anyway, so we love Jesus, but we hate religion and religious festivals. And if any of this offends you, you should have left by now. Dun, dun, dun.
Yep.
Larry, if you're going to switch cameras, you got to take the other two off, buddy.
Yeah, I was working on that.
Hey, get your buttons right, Larry.
Yeah.
Get your buttons right. All right,
Yeah.
here we go.
Moving my buttons, dang it.
Dude, I'm fed up with your buttons.
I'm gonna push all the buttons.
Mr. Acton, please, if you would, sir.
I would challenge you to a battle of wits, but I can clearly see that you are unarmed.
Very good. Very good. Your unarmed man is right above you.
Okay.
He's right above you. And let's see. Dino, let's go with that one, buddy.
It is easier to fool the people than to convince them they have been fooled. Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. And Miss Jones. Me and Mrs. Go ahead.
Never mind. I have a friend that can't say Tisha or Tisha Jones without singing it to that song.
Really?
Yes. It's
That's
really funny
awesome.
every time he sees me. But anyway, great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people.
Mm-hmm.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Very good.
I've got
yeah,
one more
woman.
I got to throw into the equation because
What's
it
that?
goes with the day. To argue with someone who has renounced the sense of reason
Okay.
is like administering medicine to the dead.
I couldn't click on it fast enough.
Yep.
Where's it at? You know
You
why?
didn't-
It's right there. See where it's at? It's right there.
Oh.
Now it's right there. It's literally
In the middle.
in the
of
middle
everything.
of the page.
It was a day of having a debate with a bunch of libtards
There it is. Yeah.
around the fact that Trump is trying to expedite getting these assholes out of the country and everybody should have due process. And I'm like, yeah, no, due process is for citizens of the United States.
Right.
Correct.
Why is that so
Correct.
hard?
You enter any other country illegally and find out what happens to your damned ass.
Right.
Right.
You know?
That part.
Absolutely.
And then at the end,
That part.
I said, I got a question for you. Why do you hate this country so much?
Hmm.
You guys and your administration let billions of people into this country totally unvetted.
They got
Correct.
invite pamphlets.
Some of them, murderers,
Oh,
rapists.
They got invite
Don't get me
pamphlets from the
started.
Democrats.
Yeah.
Here, come to America and shit all over our cities.
And now we're tasked with trying to sort them out and get them out of here.
Fornication
And
in
you
the
want to have
streets.
each and every one of them have it? No, we are going by the what is it? Foreign Enemies Act.
Yeah.
And we're extraditing, getting them the hell out of here.
And you know what? There's a little bit of controversy with the one protester there on the campus. There's a bunch of conservatives, and I get their argument, but I get their argument because of the reasoning behind it. So they're getting rid of this guy, or bring him up on charges and looking to revoke his visa and deport him. And it's because he's protesting in favor of Hamas and against Israel. And they're going, we can't have these anti-Semite laws being enforced without enforcing all the other bullshit that's been going on. And I go, I get that. But here's the reality. At least in this one case, it is dude, you're going to come here on a visa and then go to an American campus saying you want to learn about this country and then protest this country? Get the hell out.
All right.
Goodbye.
So the most
Not okay.
the most funny statement was made by one libtard that's told me that my mind has been polluted by listening to too many of these right-wing podcasts.
Your mind's been polluted.
Wow.
Okay.
My friend, I'm sorry to tell
I
you,
wish
but
it
I'm
was.
You need to
involved with
check
one of
out.
those.
To say your mind
You
has been
know.
polluted.
Right.
Okay. They're yeah.
Darn those right-wing
Boom,
podcasts.
these explosions of bullshit.
I wasn't ready. I was
We're ready. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? He can forsake all of the right-wing podcasts and go listen to their fearless leader.
Right.
That's why we were defeated in 2018 when they tried to do it. We went to 54 states.
54
Sleepy. Sleepy.
That's even more than Obama's 52.
Yeah.
What did we get? We
Go
gained
back
2
to the
more since
Smurf
Obama?
Village.
54, according to
Yeah,
Biden there.
Because 52 was
Yeah,
Obama,
yeah.
right?
Well, these proxy
Biden's
states.
got 54.
I mean, you know, really the only thing you can say about the whole thing is,
No wonder
These
he won.
people are crazy.
you know. So I mean, that's all you can say. And you know what Grandma thinks about it.
And it creeps me the fuck out.
I mean, oh, I love it. F-bomb for Grandma.
Yeah.
She's
Love you,
smiling in
Grandma.
heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody see the Bill Maher
Yes,
thing?
that was
I can't
excellent.
stomach that guy.
I can't either, but
This was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a transformation coming through this man?
Yes, there is.
There
Because
is.
Oh,
I'm
my
hoping.
God.
he went to
The
the
Maybe
White
I-
House.
says.
Yeah.
You went to the White House.
That
He
would
came
be
back. It was the most honest and true presentation from a left-wing comedian you'll ever see.
Right.
Wow.
It is very good. Very good.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Let me see if I can.
I think I sent it to you.
Did you send it to me?
I did.
Okay, I will pull it up that way.
Right
Larry, are you awake over there, Larry?
No.
No, Larry's not.
Shit.
Then
Wake
who's
up, Larry.
that?
Okay,
Who's that over there?
I'll wake up.
Larry,
Quit playing with your dinghy.
it's your favorite.
Go,
There we
Larry.
go. Oh, a new one.
Yeah,
You found me a new one.
I did.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, I
well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Shall not be infringed or should be infringed?
No, that shall
Should
Oh,
be
not.
shall not.
infringed
It
if
should be in capital letters.
Now,
not.
that is the Second Amendment
Yeah.
to the Constitution. It was issued on December 15th, 1791.
And it expires when? What are you doing, Patrick?
Yeah, find it.
trying to find the video.
When does it expire, Larry?
Never.
Oh, when you
Never,
pry it from
ever.
my cold, dead hands.
Excuse me, but if you enter Chicago,
yeah.
it ended then.
Oh, okay. All right. In the beginning of a change, the patriot is a scarce man and brave and hated and scorned. When his cause succeeds, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. Mark Twain, beautiful man. And let's do this one together. I want to make sure I got my buttons here. Do I got my button? Yes, I do got my button. Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
And I think that people out here would do well, if you're watching, to understand that apologies do nothing with these monsters.
There we go. Nothing with
I'm
these
really
monsters.
bad at that.
Yeah, nothing with these
What a
monsters.
good old boy, Crowder.
Tim's, I know, is in chat. You got to tell me where you hid the file of Marjorie Taylor Greene, because I have yet to find it to throw it into the computer and be able to play that one back. But that's all good. Patrick, did you find it, sir?
I
Good
did,
sir.
and I'm going to send it to you right
You
now.
sent it to me. All right, I'm on this one. Larry, what were you? Oh, I got it right here. It's already right here. Let's go to my Brave browser. Let's see if that button worked. Did that button work? That button did not work.
Don't, I just
Uh,
resent it.
Yep, I got it. I got to see if my. All right, we're just going to go to the Brave browser. You guys are going to see this. Here it is. Boom, boom, boom. And of course, no sound to start out with. Why would you do
My book
that?
report on my visit to the White House.
All right, here we go.
And now for what I know you've all been waiting for, I'd like to give you my book report on my visit to the White House.
This is actually pretty good.
Okay. As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute. So, thank you.
You wish you were leading that.
Okay, so meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog. His show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. We are past 9 o'clock.
So no, I didn't go MAGA. And to the president's credit, there was no pressure to. After we left the Oval Office, he showed me the little room off the office, you know, the one where Clinton used to.
The one where Clinton used to
get Lewinsky'd.
Never mind.
The blowjob room. Okay. Not anymore. That's where they keep the merch now. It is. And he gave me a bunch of hats, but he didn't ask me to take a picture in one, which I appreciated. The guy I met is not the person who the night before the dinner shit-tweeted a bunch of nasty crap about how he thought this dinner was a bad idea and what a deranged asshole I was. I read it and thought, oh, what a lovely way to welcome someone to your house. But when I got there, that guy wasn't living there. No, does Trump want respect? Of course, who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky, I'll tell you that.
Oh, shit.
Just for starters, he laughs. I've never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. And I thank you for them. Okay, example. In the Oval Office, he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know, the best thing about him, his hair. I said, well, there was also that whole bringing down communism thing, waiting for the button next to the Diet Coke button to get pushed and I go through the trap door. But no, he laughed, he got it. I said to him at one point, Mr. President, you know the dog, that's unusual in the White House. He said, well, a lot of the presidents, they had a dog for political reasons. I said, no, people love dogs, that's what that is. Oh yeah, okay, that's true. I'm telling you what happened. At one point, we were walking through it is an amazing tour of the whole house. And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public.
Amen.
Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track, like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
He's a human.
There were so many moments when I hit him with a joke or contradicted something, and no problem. At dinner, he was asking me about the nuclear situation in Iran in a very genuine, hey, I think you're a smart guy, I want your opinion sort of way. And I said, well, obviously you're privy to things about it, I'm not, but for what it's worth, I thought the Obama deal was worth letting play out because we made Iran destroy 98% of the uranium, and they were 15 years away from a bomb. And then I said to him, but we got rid of that. You got rid of that. He didn't get mad or call me a left-wing lunatic. He took it in. I told him I thought parts of his plan for Gaza were wacky, but that I had supported him in the idea that Gaza could be Dubai instead of hell. I told him he was wrong when he tweeted the night before that I was critical of all things Trump. Not true. Check the tapes. Moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem, loved it. The border did need to be controlled. I'm glad the cops are getting their morale back. DEI had gone too far. Biological men shouldn't be playing women's sports.
Wow.
Europe should pay for their defense.
That's a lot of,
and of course, it makes sense that Arab countries should take in Arab refugees, like the million Syrians who wound up in Germany when Saudi Arabia took none. He said to me, you're right, they took none. I said, well, you should remind your boyfriend in Saudi Arabia that the next time you see him.
Low dive.
Tell me you laughed.
He laughed. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. Me, I feel it's emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days. He was even okay when I checked him on the orangutan lawsuit. He was. He said to Dana White, you know, Bill said my father was an orangutan, and I really love my father. And I said, well, Mr. President, I did that because I didn't like what you were doing regarding Obama's birth origins. I thought that was low. Again, no anger, just a little smile as if to say, yeah, I get it. The most surreal part of the whole night was when I got home. I flew back right after the dinner, and I'm in bed watching 60 Minutes from the night before. And there's Trump in one of their stories, standing at a podium in a room that looked to me like one of the rooms and places we'd just been in. And he's ranting, disgusting, you're a terrible person. And I'm like, who's that guy? What happened to Glinda the Good Witch? And why can't we get the guy I met to be the public guy? And I'm not saying it's our responsibility to do that. It's not. I'm just reporting exactly what I saw over 2.5 hours. I went into the mine, and that's what's down there.
I love this. I do. This is to have him talk about that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so genuine.
But it just it brings up what my friends told me about him from living in New York City.
About Trump?
Okay.
Not Bill Maher.
Having had met him and been around him in New York City stuff, all the lights and, you know, whatever.
Yep.
Like, that's what they said. He is a real person.
He's that guy.
Like, if you were to talk to him, that would be the way he is. And so to hear Bill Maher, of all fucking people, like talk about how genuine and authentic he is.
Yeah.
To use a little buzzword in this generation,
You
gotta
got
be
my eye on
authentic.
Mr. Bill.
Well, I
what
gotta
a
say that
transformation. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
When he ran, actually before he ran, first time, he had a hometown meeting in Saginaw, and I went to that with a friend of mine. And you guys to ask questions of him directly. And Bill said to him, from a Christian perspective, Mr. Trump, what's the last thing you think about before you go to sleep at night? Thinking he would talk about prayer or whatever. Trump pauses, looks at him and says, have you seen my wife?
Bold.
And I thought, this guy's freaking awesome. He's great. You know? He's entertaining. He's fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I've heard a lot of good discussions lately about how much Trump acknowledges. Well, he's done it publicly too. We probably heard it, but I can't recall immediately off the top of my head where I've heard it. But where he has said that he does have a massive ego, and that's one of the things you kind of have to run for office to be that, because you're right. If you're an honest person running for office, it's not a job that pays well. No. It's not something where you're going to be universally loved, especially when you're doing the right thing and you're not a snake. And so you have to have a big enough ego to walk into that position and be able to command a room and to be able to have that. And I think that's the big thing about Trump being bombastic behind the scene or in public, and then just being genuine as can be behind the scenes. I think it's part of a role, but it's not a disingenuous role that he does when he's standing at a podium. And he's winning people over like Bill fucking Maher.
Right.
Just by being himself.
You heard what I said.
Yeah.
I said, dude, the guy is distasteful. I didn't like the way that, Trump ran before, and all the little hits that he did in all of his comedy.
Yeah.
I was like, you disgusting fuck. But then this.
Yeah.
Wow. And my mom, I want to say this too. She went, Dean, there's going to be a day in your life where you're going to have to learn how to put on that alligator skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that now.
Right.
With Trump and the way that you explain it.
Yeah.
He is putting on a layer of, I'm a businessman.
Right.
I know how to push numbers, dial out numbers, and I know what I smell, and I smell bullshit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And there's
for somebody to go think about all the shit that he's gone through since he came down that escalator.
Right.
Right.
The impeachment process.
That's a lot.
They just blasted him one thing. How many people could handle that? How many people could handle that? Keep their composure and pull off what he pulled off in winning this election and the magnitude that he won.
Right.
Right.
It's freaking awesome. It was a God thing.
Yeah. No, he's exactly the man in the arena. He's the one that can stand it. What do you say, Dean?
What did Hillary say when they were in their first campaigning in 15, 16, getting up to the 2016?
What'd she say?
When she goes there and she was like, oh, God awful, whatever it would be if we ever had Trump in office as our president. She says,
because you'd be in jail. That's
I'll put you in jail.
Because you'd be in jail.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
You would be in jail.
But he was very calm and collected.
Yeah.
He was like, no, because you'd be in jail.
Yeah.
You just said it without. Yeah.
Right.
he
However,
goes.
What an amazing time we're living.
He goes into UFC fights and sits ringside.
Oh, they love it.
And,
they love it.
Fighters come down and give him a big hug after.
He was a part of the WWF.
Oh, dude, I did not know that until I watched the McMahon, the Netflix McMahon.
Or maybe it was NWO. I'm sorry.
No, it was.
Was it WWF? Still?
Yeah, because it was
WWE,
McMahon. It was McMahon, and they had the documentary on Netflix.
Was it?
And I didn't realize that Trump was in that.
Yeah.
And They staged it, of course. It's all staged. The phenomenal thing, I grew up watching wrestling.
Me too.
Wrestling is awesome if you understand that it's scripted, but the athletes out there doing the athletic, I go, okay, this is scripted, but that guy just jumped off the top rope, landed on that dude, rolled, and then got up.
Yeah.
Oof.
And you're like, that's some hardcore shit, no matter whether it's scripted or not.
You have to be athletic
and you
to
actually
pull that off.
And you actually have to script it, otherwise you will get hurt.
Oh.
You know, and the Hulk Hogan, when he won the belt from Andre the Giant, and Andre was in severe pain. His back was all messed up. Part of from his condition is giantism, whatever it's called, that the technical term, but giantism, where he kept growing.
Right.
And he says to Hogan, he said it. He goes, "Do it." And that's when Hogan picked him up and body slammed him and won. And Andre's the one that told him to do it and gave him permission to do it.
They negotiated
to win the match. And I'm like, dude, these guys were hardcore wrestlers. So anyways, Trump's in there with McMahon, and the bet was that if Trump lost, McMahon shaved his head. And if McMahon lost, Trump got to shave his head. And I watched the video, and Trump's just like in the ring, just shaving his head. He's like, he's just shaving his head.
Like, maniacal laugh.
Yeah, it was awesome. He played. It was great. Our quote for tonight. I'm gonna try. Why can't I pull it? I'm trying to click on it. I'm gonna click on it. Where? Why? Come on. This is archives. It better be the quote, you stupid web. No, look at that. See what happens, Dino?
Yeah,
so dumb.
It's crap.
It's crap. Let's see this. Oh, quotes.
What the crap?
What the crap? I'm just trying to get,
Do you know how often I said that
was in
before I learned how to
Me and
swear?
my brother laughed at that.
Cuss?
Cuss, yes.
Before you learned how to cuss? Okay. I got it. All right. This is William Casey. He was the director of the CIA from 1981 to 1987. And he said, here's our quote for tonight: "We will know that our disinformation program is complete when everything the U.S. public believes is false." Let me read it again. We'll know our disinformation program, that's a mapped out stated agenda, is complete when everything the U.S. public believes is false. I love more than anything what the Trump administration is doing.
Are we just going to skip over the fact that the quote under that is really disgusting?
What does it say? Which one were you reading?
I don't know. I can't see it now.
I passed a test that says a man who isn't a socialist at 20 has no heart, and a man who is socialist at 40 has no head.
So he's
who is a socialist?
Who is a socialist has no head. So he's
it's just
bastardizing. Well, he's bastardizing the quote from.
Yeah, that's not actually what was said.
No,
has
he's
no brain.
Right.
Right. Well, the quote was from Churchill, and Churchill said, he said, "A man who is not a liberal or socialist at 20 has no heart, and one who is not a conservative at 40 has no brain."
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that when you're young, you're dumb, and you go along with your feelings and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get older,
it's just disturbing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so he said, "I passed the test. I'm gonna fuck everybody over." Anyways, so that's William Casey. That's our quote for tonight. Because we're talking about exposing lies. Let's talk about today. What's today? What's today, Patrick?
It is tax day.
It is tax day, and I got a
Tax day.
challenge for anybody out there sitting at that table.
Yeah.
Can any of you produce a law, a statute, and a regulation that makes an American citizen liable for or required to pay income tax?
Of course not, Larry.
We were discussing that before.
You were pointing fingers at us, and you didn't switch your camera.
What?
Here we go.
I what?
And now it went black. Look at that. That's Larry.
Yeah.
Black screen right there.
Why did they do that?
Got a piece of tape over your lens there.
There you go.
You don't want to see you're picking your nose is what it is.
They do want to see it, Larry. I'll take some more ice, Dino.
He says yes. Sorry. I just had a.
Thank you, sir.
Did you just get that on your keyboard?
Maybe, but I don't care.
Okay. Until it blows out and smoke starts coming out.
Well, this particular one I think was like $18.
Okay.
Oh, that's
So I tend to, sometimes the equipment here will break. And so I purposely have a few pieces of equipment that can be broken.
Just for that
It don't matter.
That I just go, yeah. The one keyboard downstairs wasn't working last night, and I'm trying to type in something to the computer up here. And
did you
I'm like,
chuck
really?
it across the man cave?
I slammed it on the table, and like 6 buttons flew up in the air. And I was like, okay, I'll fix those later. And I come upstairs thinking, because I shut it off, I turned it back on, I pulled the battery, I did this, I hit the buttons like this, and it just wouldn't connect. I come up here, and the keyboard up here wouldn't connect. I had to restart the computer.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, I went downstairs,
okay.
found all the buttons, snapped them all back in place, because that's the dirty little secret. There are things that you can get angry at, slam them, and then you just find the pieces and pop them back on.
As long as you put the buttons back in the right spot, it could be a problem otherwise.
My ears are wrong.
Sending a message you really didn't want to send.
I looked at it. Anyway, so, all right, do I need to shut you off over there?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's our quote for tonight, but we're going to start with tax day. Taxation without representation. What do we think of that?
Well, it's Tisha's ball.
Yeah.
Hey, that is my ball because it's been 14 weeks now without a senator where I live.
Mm-hmm.
State senator, sorry.
Yeah, state senator.
State senator.
It's a state senator.
And so there's some really fun stuff coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if
that's because
you
Gretchen
can take
Whitmer.
this computer.
Because Gretchen Whitmer will not order a special election.
She won't. Yeah.
That's probably because she was hiding herself at the White House.
No, she was hiding herself all over the planet. She's been in like 6 or 8 foreign countries. The White House.
I'm
just curious as to whether or not she found her way into the blowjob room. That's up to
apparently Bill Maher got to go in there, but it's only merchandise now. Yeah. Dino's melting down.
I can hear.
Are you pulling up articles?
Yeah, I have one.
Hold on a second.
What kind of merchandise?
Mega hats.
Stop. Blue dresses. Come stinks. Can you go to the OBS thing?
Oh, hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I can or not because there's so much up.
The touch screen doesn't work on that. I had to shut it off. Thank you, Dean. You got the OBS?
It still won't let me.
Did you crash it? You have to project.
Oh, how do I do that?
All right, so find a blank spot near the picture.
It's the picture or the article?
No, go to the OBS.
Yeah.
Right click right here.
Right click?
Yep. Say project. Does it say it right there?
Full screen projector?
BD HDMI. BDI HDMI.
That one?
Yep. There it is. Okay, now click on whatever browser you're on. Are you on?
It's not in there.
Oh, I told you got to go into the other.
I did. I promise I did, but it's not on that page.
Are you on the Edge browser?
No, I'm on.
Brave?
No, I used the MSN one that it told me to use.
Is this Brave? Grab that article and throw it in the Brave browser. It'll show up immediately.
How do I do that?
Just copy that. Copy that.
Oops. Now it's gone. Look what you did.
All right, copy that. Throw it in there. We're just walking through a little tutorial here.
I don't know what he's.
Okay, so copy in the tagline.
Copy. Okay, so copy this entire
string up top. Okay. Now take that over to the Brave browser.
There's Brave browser.
Down at the bottom. You see the little lion face? Little red lion face?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, click on that and then paste that into the title bar and hit go. It'll actually say you want to paste and go, and that's the option.
Paste and go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did.
And there it is.
There it is.
Now you're up. And I'm going to do this and watch this. Where's my button?
I don't know.
We're going to do news. Check this out. Boom.
Oh, God. Hi. Little up close and
look
personal.
at that. Look at that. That was a pre-programmed button for you.
So, Representative Bill Schuette, and no, you didn't hear that name wrong. It is Bill Schuette's, I believe, son.
Okay. Schuette,
the former Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
It's his son. Anyway, so he has now proposed a bill in the state house, because he's a state rep from Midland, that would give us a tax break for not having representation.
Okay.
So just...
So you're looking through that article here?
Yeah, so he says, tomorrow most Michiganders and many in the 35th Senate District are going to be filing their state income taxes. Because they don't have full representation, I think they should be able to get a credit back on that.
Okay.
So what it would do is allow taxpayers in a vacant district to deduct from their state income taxes 50% of the revenue they earned during a vacancy in one chamber, or 100% of their income if both seats in the chamber are vacant.
Okay.
So he's saying these people have been unrepresented for 14 weeks.
Yeah.
They get a tax break.
I like it.
Is what the bill is.
I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
Obviously, it has to go through the 1918 state Senate.
Step in the right direction.
But just to see him proposing that. Now, everybody is saying that he's the front runner in the race should the election ever happen.
Right.
But he's thought of as the front runner for the Republicans in that kind of situation. We'll see. Listen, trust the shooting name as far as you can throw it. Okay. But this is a step in the right direction.
It is. And I used to be the one that would say, instead of saying bullshit, I'd say Barbara Streisand, Bill Schuette.
BS.
Yeah, BS. It's a bunch of BS.
Oh.
But I mean, that's it. It's a dichotomy with Whitmer because she's just not even
right.
So then she's forced to talk about it, and she says, "quote At some point there will be one, but I don't have an announcement to make yet."
Nice.
Unquote. Like, you've been around the world, lady.
Yeah.
Like, you've had time to announce one. We could have had an election next month,
right?
But you chose to screw around and do everything but listen to the people of the 35th district. And now the next time that can be even thought about is August.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because she's demonic.
Like,
a witch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good look. It's just not.
Right.
So yeah, I feel very unrepresented, and I don't feel like I should have to pay a bunch of taxes for a bunch of people who are making laws and setting budgets and dealing with people who can't even have a voice because there's nobody to call.
Right.
There's nobody to.
Yeah.
How can I redress grievances?
Exactly.
If there's no one there to redress them to.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like.
Exactly.
I have a really big problem with that.
I do.
It might be because I'm like the only Republican in like a 10 square mile area where I am, but in the city of Saginaw, deep in the city of Saginaw. But I mean, it's Midland County, it's Saginaw County, parts of Bay County. I mean, this is not a small area that we're talking about.
Right.
270,000 people without a state senator.
Wow.
Still 14 weeks later.
Wow. Yeah, that sucks. So any other thoughts on the taxation with you guys?
That's my rant.
No, I love it. I love it. No taxation without representation. I think they need to abolish the IRS. I think they need to abolish property taxes.
Yeah,
and I think the good government.
They're trying to. Anthony Hudson's trying to get that on the books.
Yeah.
There are petitions out right now. I'm trying to find out where I can get my hands on a petition because I'll go out door knocking for that one big time.
For sure.
But we need like 15,000 signatures. If the state of Michigan does not want to, the legislators don't want to vote on it, we can get a public vote in the next election with that many signatures.
See what just happened? You guys, does anybody catch what just happened?
No.
I literally tried to scroll up and I switched off of its seat. Buttons.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, I agree with you, Patrick. We got to find that.
So we can get that would be awesome. You get elderly folks, especially because these folks are on a fixed income, living in their family home that's been in the family for generations.
Correct.
And now the taxes on it are so high, they can't afford to live there anymore. They have to sell the family home just because they can't afford it.
Well, it's not just family homes though. It's it's any property.
Any property.
So like our family is facing a situation where the matriarch of the family is not doing very well. And there's a farm that was given to her by her dad. And the will that it was prepared for is so it's
convoluted and full of shit.
It's from a different time. No, you can tell it's from a different time because it's from a person who wanted to maintain ownership in the family. But now we're facing a situation where that may have to be sold. It's a centennial farm.
That's what I'm talking about.
But we're facing having to sell that because of all the situations going on in the family with my grandmother. Like, I know I should probably put this out there without talking to my family first, but it's
they're listening in
like
chat, so I mean, you're all right.
The taxes are so high every year that they have to figure out who's going to pay what. And nobody's lived on it for years. Part of it is rented, literally rented to a farmer. That's how it can be kept as a centennial farm. So he farms 20 or 40 acres of it, and then the other 20 or 40 is swampland, marshes, and the front where the house is.
Wow.
But that house is over 100 years old.
Yep.
And it's a stone house that was literally laid stone on stone, brick by brick on one side.
Stone by stone.
And no, like the one part of it is stone and then the rest of it is brick. And it was all hand done by my grandfathers and great grandfathers. And now to have it be like dilapidated and like the barn fell down, but the taxes on it are still ridiculous.
They are.
So it's like we have to figure out who pays taxes every year.
And they raise your taxes not based on the a true assessment. They raise it based on what the market says the value of your home is worth. Well, you know what? The value of my home didn't go up until I choose to sell it.
Correct.
Until I choose to sell it, the value of the home is what I paid for it.
Right.
That moment. If I paid for a house and it was $400,000 for that house when I paid for it on day one, then that's the assessment until I decide to sell it.
Exactly.
How fucking dare you say that my house is now worth $800,000 because of inflation and because the economy's all jacked up, and now you're gonna say my house is worth $800 until I sell it again.
Right.
You are extorting money based on your philosophy. There was a house down in Florida. I watched the whole documentary down there. There was a house in Florida, and they wanted to get this guy out because his house had some secrets. It was on a ley line or something like that. It had some very mysterious stuff going on, and there was some stuff buried in it. And they tried to get this guy out and tried to get this guy out and tried to get this guy out. And you know what they did? They raised they assessed his property, raised the property tax to the point that he couldn't afford the property tax anymore. There was no way he could ever afford it. And they seized it under property tax default and took his property, and then immediately, miraculously, the price went back down. And there are governments that, little podunk fucking municipalities and shit like that screwing people over all the time. Listen, you want to enter into a contract with me for this piece of property?
It's the barn.
Never in that contract do I say that if I don't hold up my end. First of all, I didn't get the option with property taxes. But second of all, your recourse is to seize the property. You've got retirees who paid off their house 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
Okay. That are now retired, and you raise their property tax to the point that they either are in default on property taxes or have to sell now because they can't afford the property taxes. Yep. This is a house they paid off, that they worked for, that they earned. And these fucking leeches in our governments take their property. I'm like, there's a lot of demonic things out there. You're in the list.
Yeah.
You're in the fucking list. You're going to take somebody's property because you couldn't extort money out of them through a property tax? I fucking can't stand it. Not can't stand it.
It's been going on.
I got to take that back to scripture real quick, man. You know, Lord came to me while I was doing an amazing job. See, my boss don't have patience to be on his knees sometimes when he's got all this going on up here. So I've been tired of looking at these grout tracks that don't have grout in them down there on that tile. And I'm like, we got to complete this, boss. All right, today's cold. I ain't working outside. What do you got for me? He says, nope, I'm going to call it. I want to do that grout. All right. So I'm doing that and down on my knees. Lord brings it to me and he says, well, you know what? I want you to go to Psalms 49. I'll try to find it and dial in real quick here. I believe it was, what was it? People praise when they prosper. However, wherever it's at. I might have to look at it later. But the fact is, where I came to is that there is supposed to be an overthrow of new drawn power from leaders. Once we push away all this of what we've been doing, this crap, you know, everything, it's noise, it's static.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? When you got people like us that get on things like this and we go, all right, you know what? Let's go. It's time to get the message out. So, yeah, we welcome you liberals. You know, just don't try to press your bullshit. All right? Because we're not going to deal with it. You're going to have a fight back with words.
Well, that's how we became the Righty Right Drinky Drinky show when they accused us of being the Righty Right Drinky Drink show.
Right.
Tim says hi.
Hi, Tim.
He just messaged me.
Oh, message you direct?
He said I should get off my phone because that's Larry's job.
That's Larry's job. Larry's over there interacting with chat. I see him periodically when he looks up and doesn't make fart noises. Yeah, you know, you're exactly right. And you know what, Dino, thinking about it is in under Mosaic law, you had 7 years. And then after 7 years, any property that you loaned money on was then to be returned. It was year of Jubilee. So if you bought a piece of property, you only had 7 years on that note. And no matter where you were on the property, you got it was yours, free and clear. It was cut loose. There was a lot of things like that. We don't honor that here at all in this country. You know, slide that up just a little bit, Tisha. Your necklace keeps hitting it. Yeah, just slide up a little bit. It keeps hitting your.
I had to.
Your necklace.
So she did find something. There.
I had to go to Blue Letter Bible because, well, that's what we do.
And what I was getting at is that there is a thing that the Lord, as well as if it was David that was saying it. But he says, and where did you find that?
Psalm 49:11.
49:11. And what does it say?
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They shall call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not, he is like the beasts that perish. And this their way is their folly, yet their posterity, not prosperity, posterity, approve their sayings.
And it goes on and on. But the thing is that let's not place our hope on just land itself. This is all God's land.
Right.
You see, but the obedience of what it means to actually find yourself at that knee form and say, you know what, Lord, I don't want my property to go down and I really need your help.
Yeah.
You know, that's when that glory of power, miraculous sign starts happening in your life. Because that's when it starts to reject all the enemy from you because you're protected.
Right.
So, however.
Yeah, no, that's great. So taxes, we got to get rid of property taxes. We got to get rid of income taxes. They're an abomination.
Well, the thing about property taxes is, you know, you get people that aren't, they try to sneak through these millages. And the people that aren't in your area are voting on things that you have to pay for. Case in point. I'm in Genesee County. If I were a half mile south, I'd be in Livingston County, which would be a huge plus for me.
Right.
I pay for everything. I pay for the airport up there. I pay for my community college. I pay for mass transit. I pay for the parks and recreation. I pay for.
You enjoy
They
it?
had these this thing on my bill called senior services. Senior services. Let's find out what that is. I call them up. What is senior services? Well, if you're over the age of 65 and you live by yourself, we have a snowstorm that's over 4 inches, we'll come plow your driveway out. I said, super, I fit. Sign me up. End of the winter, call them up. Hey, what happened? Never saw you guys. Oh, we don't service your area. Well, what do you mean you don't service my area? I pay the damn bill.
Right.
Oh, but that's only in Flint. Okay. I pay for Flint. I pay for Flint. I pay for Flint. I pay for Flint.
Out of you.
And I'm tired of paying for Flint. Okay. My tax bill, especially since I live on the lake, is freaking ridiculous. Now, I gotta say it's not as bad because I'm homestead property taxed in. Thank you, Governor Engler, for that one. But if I couldn't afford to sell my house to myself and live there, because I've been there for 30 years. If I sold it and I bought it, my taxes would be 3 times what they are right now, which is astronomical.
Right. It's ridiculous.
It's bad now. It would be unbelievable. I can't afford to do it.
Right. And that's what they want to do. They want to tax you
out.
They want to tax you out of your house.
Yeah. So inevitably what's happening, especially on those lakefront properties, is people do sell them. I had a realtor talk to me about my house. Oh, it's dated. It's not going to bring it. I said, you know what? Let me tell you something. The person that's really going to be interested in buying this house is going to walk in the front door, walk right to the front windows and look at the lake and look at how big the lot is. They don't give a damn about the house. You want to know why? Because they're going to bulldoze this place and put up this McMansion.
There you go.
They don't give a damn about the house.
Development.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But your house is pretty cool. I like the architecture.
Thank you.
Wasn't it 70s?
Yeah.
Built in the 70s? Yeah. I love the architecture.
Not yet to experience, but I'm looking forward.
Well, you got to come on over.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Vaulted ceilings throughout the main part, big stone fireplace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Gorgeous. And then he makes the basement area is a whole nother
World.
well, it's a whole nother you could split it into 2 houses.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A full kitchen downstairs and a full kitchen upstairs and
Nice.
a couple bedrooms down there, a couple bedrooms up there.
Yeah.
Full bathrooms. Yeah, it's a
Have a
badass place.
podcast that
Yeah, and the view is very nice. You got those are willows, right? Big willows tree.
Yeah.
He's got these
beautiful.
big 2 or 3.
Name.
You lost one, didn't you, recently?
There's one willow by the lake, and then I've got 3 big hardwood trees up by the house.
Yeah.
Cover
Sounds
the house.
beautiful.
And it's just gorgeous right to the lake, and
Watch
it's right
the
there.
hair just fucking.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Tim's pointing out. I was saying 7 years. It was every 49, the 50th year, 7 times 7 weeks of the year. This is the 15th. Yeah. So anyways, your all debts were forgiven in that year of Jubilee, the 50th.
Mm-hmm.
We need to practice that. If we practice that, that's the way we're supposed to operate. You know. And in fact, that's one of the things why it sticks in a lot of people that when the Jews are involved in banking or finance, because they were commanded under Mosaic law to not charge usury to their brothers and sisters, but to charge it to foreigners. And so that's why they're involved in it the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, there's some very interesting dynamics. The Lord was, I'm going to give it to Jesus and the Father being pretty smart about stuff.
Amen.
Putting some things in there.
They know what they're doing.
Let's move beyond that.
We're talk about lies.
The deceptive democracy movement. I'm going to pull up this article here on old InfoWars here.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. Where is it at? I looked at my paper and read it before I had it pulled up. That's my fault. That is I could yell at the intern. Why don't you have this pulled up? And
Are they all on this computer?
No, I got it.
Okay.
So there's this one right here. Oops, not Larry Cam. I want the wall feed. Thank you. And I don't want that there. I got to close this out. So I was curious about this one, but talking about exposing the lies, the deceptive democracy movement. I got my news. There it is. Deceptive democracy movement threatening America's republic. And I like this line right here. America is a constitutional republic with a representative form of government, not a democracy. But the recent surge of groups in the pro-democracy network has designs that change that. And as long as people believe that idea, as long as they keep pushing democracy. No, we are a representative republic.
Even
This is a threat to our
Republicans keep saying
democracy.
that.
This is a threat to our democracy.
Well, actually,
I corrected
we've never
somebody
been
the
a
other day.
democracy.
Correct. We're a representative republic, but they keep saying a threat to our democracy. You're right, Larry. A republic, if you can keep it, was what our founding father, one of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin's response to Elizabeth Willing Powell's question about what kind of government they had created. America is a constitutional republic with a representative form of government. We read that one, I wish I would have come down and done this one. Many states like Utah, hungering for a return to civility after years of divisive political rhetoric, have allowed organizations connected to this movement, like Unite's Dignity Index, to infiltrate and influence state and local institutions to keep to help dictate civil policy, which they might reconsider if they knew where its origin was from. This sudden pro-democracy push actually came from former President Biden's administration, which launched that so-called movement to address hate-motivated violence and foster unity. That was a 2022 event at the White House.
And if you think that being a democracy can keep you from doing that, you're full of shit.
Well, and I'll say this, that a true democracy, I would liken it to an actual socialist. A true democracy is really a socialist group, because all it is it's a movement fostered by
the surplus.
Right.
We have a platform
Against the...
We're going to propaganda it.
Yeah.
We're going to push it on you.
Yeah.
And over time, you're going to believe it, and we're going to indoctrinate your kids through the educational system.
Well, and the idea, so the two ideas here.
No, you're not.
Okay.
What do they say about socialism? You can vote a socialist in, but you'll never be able to vote him out.
Right.
Because they take away your right to vote after that.
Fuck we're at.
Right.
Right. And that's that they've done it through the illegals coming across the border and registering them to vote. They're trying to take away that. They're extending out, voting season now. They're doing all these things to destroy that right to vote, because they want what a true democracy is majority rules. Democracy, one of the famous quotes is, democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
Right.
Now, we had some lamb today, and I'll tell you what, I guess I was a wolf.
Me too.
Get them canines out.
But that's the dynamic that we're looking at. And so this movement here, I really wanted to draw a little bit of focus on it, because the lie of this movement that they keep pounding it in, this democracy. No, republic.
Right.
And I would challenge all of our listeners out there, and I even challenge myself. Of course, I've been over there for a long time. I mean, Tisha knows, 20 plus years ago, I started a newsletter. And
he tried to write. He wrote a newsletter.
called
Common Sense Isn't So Common.
Yeah. And I wrote the whole newsletter. By the time I got it finished, I had worked so hard on it that I was like, I can maybe do this once a year, and who's going to read it? And I didn't do it, but I was very proud of it. I worked on the fonts. I worked on all the dynamics in it. Tisha tried to proofread me, and that didn't work.
I got a migraine.
Yeah. Because I write.
The man uses commas instead of periods, and I don't like
I see your music writing, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like,
I write.
You're Picasso with words.
There is a place for commas.
There's lots of places.
Sometimes I gotta shut you down in my mind because of just how much you rattle just theory and the way that it actually fits. And I'm like, oh man,
Jeremy is the king of run-on sentences, y'all.
I write when I write, especially just writing an article or a book or something like that.
There's a pause.
I write in narrative form, which drives her nuts.
I can't.
And so I'm writing it. So if you've ever listened, and that's how I do it. If you ever listen to an audiobook, they don't do it like Larry does when he does his announcement, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma.
Right.
Well, that's only because that comma is a very important punctuation.
That's intentional.
Yes.
This one.
It is very important.
This one says, anytime you pause in a sentence, there should be a comma. Well, when you're speaking, that's not so bad. When you're trying to write a however many page column about why common sense is not so common anymore, eventually there will have to be a period.
So it's a running line.
It's a complete run-on sentence.
I write
paragraph after paragraph. He'll start a new paragraph with a new sentence, but then the whole paragraph is the sentence, and then he starts again. Like,
or the sentence is the paragraph.
Right.
I just
She had difficulty with it.
makes my head hurt even more.
Yeah. That's why I don't often ask her nowadays to
That's
proofread
probably
it
a good
because I go,
idea.
listen, I wanted to know if it sounded right in your head, and you were get your red pen out to do the grammatical critiques. I'm like, when you read it out loud to yourself, did the thought?
Reading it out loud is one thing.
And that's how I write. I write from a standpoint of if I'm writing stuff, I'm writing it from something that I would read out loud in an audiobook form, and so then the punctuation. You know, it's like, all right, whatever. But don't change the tone of what I'm going for. Either way, they got this democracy. So I was challenging everybody, get rid of that word democracy from your vernacular. Remove it. There are a lot of people that we've talked about this on the show before years ago. Dino, you were part of the show back then. And then when Grandma was a heavy part of the show, and Patrick, who did you overlap with? You overlapped with Tisha, right? For a few, for a month or two,
No, it was more than a month or two.
She's the one to talk to me and becoming a delegate.
That's true.
That's my fault.
It is your fault.
So much of this is my fault.
Yes.
Jeremy, a delegate.
You know, I do
Patrick's
hold you.
a delegate. It's all my fault.
I do hold you responsible. He was. Wait, are you still a
now
delegate?
he's not. Yeah.
He's still a delegate. He never resigned to be a delegate.
Gotcha.
He got rid of all the other stuff and said, fuck.
Right.
Anyways. But
he didn't say the whole word.
Yeah. I had a whole page that I didn't.
I was trying to find on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. I had a conversation with somebody prominent. I can't even I can't find it now though.
Okay.
And he kept using the word democracy, and I'm like, no, sir.
You're like, dude,
this
stop.
Isn't how to. You're a politician. You should understand the difference. Like,
right.
Know the difference between a democracy and a republic.
But it's so programmed. It's a deceptive programming movement to get us to think about this, and we got to expose this lie. And so I was starting to say that Dean and I have had this discussion. I think we've all had a discussion. Is people, they're like, why do you gotta cuss? They'll say swear or curse, and I'm like, that you're using. First of all, you're using the wrong term to describe what I'm doing.
Right.
Stop it. Second of all, me using four four-letter words in my vocabulary does not compare to all the other words that I've gotten rid of in my life. Okay. I don't like using
I hate you. I want to see you die. You know, cursing
phrases,
words.
Yeah.
That's cursing.
That's cursing.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I sit here and I say, bam, fuck, hit my toe.
That would suck.
You know? Well, you know.
Yeah.
That's
like
real. Well, don't cuss. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm not hearing that.
Yeah, but that's the dynamic. I've gotten rid of so many other words in my vernacular, in my vocabulary, that people they would never have a clue.
Right.
I don't use the word democracy when I'm describing our republic. Now I use it in this context because we're pointing it out.
The next step in this parade is a national popular vote.
Right.
And then we're all fucked.
Exactly. Because that's the idea of a representative republic. And I've said it over and over on this show multiple times. I go, you know what? The reason predominantly why women didn't have or were not initially given the right to vote was not to disenfranchise women. It was to foster the family.
Mm-hmm.
There was an expectation that the wife and the kids would sit down with the dad and have a discussion, and then dad would show up with the rest of the men in the community and have another discussion, and they would pick a representative among those men who would go then to the bigger part of the community and represent. And it was all from the home, a dynamic of representation. It was never to disenfranchise. It was actually to incentivize family cohesion, because if the wife, and you look at our founding fathers, and if you go into the archives, you can go into the Library of Congress archives, and you can see how powerful Martha Washington was, how Abigail Adams, and many of the other founding fathers' wives were so their correspondence with their husbands is on par with what you read from them as quotations that have been handed down to us in history. Their quotes, those the women and what they wrote to their husbands, advising them, pointing out things, having this discourse with them, was phenomenal. And if you think, if you just take a second and you go, that was just in written form. What were they talking about when they sat down together?
Right.
If she's bold enough to go, honey, here's this, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing, in a letter, what was she saying in public to him? There was a partnership there, and it fostered the family. And that's why our founding fathers understood, you know what? I'm not depriving my wife of the right to vote. I am taking on the full responsibility of representing her and my children when I go and taking their opinions. Now, is that perfect? Were there some guys that were assholes and did? Of course.
Right.
We have the same problems now.
Right.
And so now you've got, upwards of 30 million people that come across the border illegally that they're voting.
We want our rights.
They're voting.
This country sucks.
Our representatives, quote unquote, are giving them or are petitioning to have them have the right to vote. You have no vested interest in this country. You don't own a fucking thing. You're siphoning off the welfare system, and you want to come in here and vote in our elections to disenfranchise me?
No, sir.
Well, that's not the only thing. The Democrats right now are pushing this ranked choice voting.
Oh,
It's not.
Yeah. And that will destroy everything. I mean, that is corruption to the hilt.
Well, why don't you explain ranked choice voting?
Yeah, explain it to us, Larry.
Well, it's kind of like a pyramid. You go in and you vote for a couple different candidates. And like, let's say let's just take one race. Let's talk about state representative. And you got 3 primary candidates running for it. Well, you got to go in there on your ranked choice voting and make your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice. And whoever gets the most votes wins.
Yeah.
Right. So, and there is no party picking or anything like that. So they could throw a Democrat in the mix too.
Correct.
There could be 2 or 3 of those. So you could end up with 6.
And they can run people. The biggest problem with that I've seen with the ranked choice is they can run people just to run them and spoil the whole system.
Right. Throw a brick at it.
Correct.
Yes.
This guy's only going to get 20%, and this guy's only going to get 35%.
Let's smash that window.
But that's 55% and disenfranchises the guy that would have got
I didn't say
a
that
majority.
out loud. Nobody can prove it.
So there's deceptive democracy.
I hope my mic
That's one of
wasn't
the
up
things.
too loud for that one.
We talked over you. It's all right.
Good.
It happens.
Tudor Dixon.
Tudor Dixon.
I didn't say anything.
Hey, you know what?
She's a special friend.
That guy's special.
She.
Or she.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Tudor Dixon is a female.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta need to catch up.
Tutor. I had a problem with tutor. She was a tutor. I was like, we got a farter. No. We got a tutor.
Can you grab me a bottle?
No, I know tutor. She's a sweet lady, but it should have been either Kevin Rinke or our good friend of the show, Ryan Kelly.
I tried to have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
At a political gathering where we all were.
Okay.
And she passed me off to her assistant instantly.
Of course.
I was trying to make a connection based on my former experience with journalism and broadcasting, and nope, she passed me right off to her. Said, my assistant can talk to you about that.
Well, let's go back.
Which I didn't ask your assistant. I asked you.
Are you on?
Like,
real quick before I go back down. In the beginning of this show, we talked about how I didn't like Bill Maher. But yet he said something that nobody thought he would have ever said about Trump.
Right.
Right.
He liked that
That's what you're explaining right now.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. Patrick, did you need, we're not taking an official break right now. I'm going to have to figure out, among doing a lot of buttons up here, I will figure out a break time at a certain point. But if you got to.
Yeah, I can't get my camera to work either, Jeremy. It went out. And
Is the camera still on, Larry?
It won't turn back on or it won't turn off, one or the other.
Well, if I were a camera having to stare at you all the time, I'd break too.
Oh, there it goes. Shots fired.
I told you we're going hard today.
Oh, and that's what we call friendly fire, Larry.
We're not messing around. Damn.
What are you on number 3 on the small tab? The small.
Yes.
Okay. Switch to 2. Okay, the overhead's working. All right, go back to 3. Touch the third line going in, the third HDMI. It might be the HDMI is loose in the back in the camera.
Oh.
Because I saw it flicker a couple times. Can you see the display on the front of the camera?
No. I got a red light.
That's charging. But you don't see the display showing you a camera symbol?
No.
This is what we do live on the show, guy. This is realism, sissy.
We repair and...
What was the
Oh,
Alex
wait a minute. I got
Jones
something
thing
now.
that you
Now
were
I see
pull up
something.
there?
Are you seeing something, Larry?
Yeah, like a
Mhm.
box with like a mountain in it.
Yeah, a little icon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's not showing up.
Hmm.
So do this. Unplug both lines
Yeah.
in the camera
Yeah.
and then plug them back in.
I did that.
There
My
we go.
Fitbit's yelling at me.
Is it?
My
What's it
heart
telling you?
rate's been above 100 the whole show.
Not from anxiety, just from
No, just
fun, just sheer fun. Laughter does good like a medicine.
I just think it's hilarious. It keeps...
You know what? That's an option, Tim, but I think we all want to push Larry's buttons from time to time. Did you figure it out, Larry? Or I gotta come over there and rescue you?
I don't know.
Mine did
It's
that.
give it a second. I just plugged it back in.
Okay.
I got like 15 things open.
You got a few things over there. What do we want to go? Do we want to dive into 9/11 truth yet, or do we want to talk about Biden's the Biden administration, the former vice president's child trafficking exposed, or
Oh, God.
also
Really,
Crossfire hurricane?
I didn't know I didn't know anything about that.
About Biden's?
Yes.
Okay, let me pull this one up, and then we'll go back to the 9/11 thing. That there's some not just one or two people, but there's a big push right now for another investigation that like on Trump, because Trump never believed the official story of 9/11 and even called it out. And there's so many anomalies. There's so many things. If you've been sleeping under a rock or a bridge in a leftist city, you may not know this, but 9/11 was an inside job, and most people don't have a clue about Building 7, where there was a lot of nefarious things going on, and a gold reserve that miraculously disappeared, and Bush's little brother. What the hell? What's his?
Jeb?
No, not Jeb. They got another brother.
Another brother, Jeb.
other brother.
They got a younger brother that was in charge of fixing. So here's one of the big things. They needed a new Pearl Harbor, is what they wrote up in one of the think tank papers. They needed a new catalyst, a new short of a new Pearl Harbor, they couldn't bring about the change that they wanted to bring about. So they had that going, and then they wanted to. The buildings were full of asbestos and a whole bunch of other garbage. Do you know the amount of people that died that have been swept under the rugs? The amount of people that have been paid out and died after 9/11 attacks who died of lung disease? Thousands and thousands of people. More people have died.
I have a friend who has severe lung disease because
They breathed
it
in the
wasn't
dust.
cancer, but because he was part of the cleanup and not cleanup necessarily, but the rescue effort.
Yeah, and breathed in that dust.
And he's between that and Katrina in New Orleans. He's a mess.
Yeah,
he can't breathe. He's on oxygen now.
It's ridiculous.
It's a whole thing.
So let's look at this. So that's 9/11. We'll dive into that here in a minute. But let's do this one.
Lamb shank.
Oh, you bring up the lamb shank to bite into it?
I had to just do a little bragging advertisement.
On the lamb shank? Oh, we got to go to overhead?
Flip it over. That's the darker side.
Yeah,
You
give me
gotta show the
that.
middle.
I had to bite out of this one. So
That's okay.
All right, flip this one
Flip
up.
it so
Get
you can see
that lamb right
that
there.
it's.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
You know what?
A
I'm
very
going to
good
go to
piece
my drink shop
Very
here.
good piece of lamb.
Look at that. Oh, look at that lamb.
Done perfectly.
Oh yeah, look at that cut.
Not cooked to a
And then
death
there's
like I would
there's
eat
some
it.
char right there. Char right
That's
there.
my favorite part.
Some lamb shank. That was some tasty stuff. I was like
It was
very
good.
concerned, and then I was like, because you don't know. The first time I'm cooking it, and I'm like, what? How's this going to turn out? Dino's like, hell yeah, man.
Well, I dipped out because I did most of the service of trying to clean things up.
Get your mic on.
Dude, why is that so hard to remember?
I don't know. Because I just talk a lot. However,
did you lose your
I
clip?
didn't get to eat any of this because I wanted the service.
Well, that and you
because
said you
there's
had
a
eaten
thing
before
about
too,
what
right?
we do as disciples.
Mm-hmm.
To be a disciple, you have to die to yourself. And you have to understand that the service that you put for others, you need to put that in their hands to help them understand that the respect and the perspective of who you are as a man, doesn't matter female or male, or children, you service them because the Lord will please you and he will bless you.
Right.
So therefore, now I get to enjoy a little bit of the lamb.
You mean you're kind of living a scriptural dynamic of he who is the greatest among you must be the servant of all?
Right.
What?
How does that work?
Come on.
It really does say that.
It does say that.
It does say that.
And it's just, it does say that.
I am a
disciple.
That's not the part of the Bible that the liberals read.
No,
Do the liberals read the Bible?
Wait a minute.
Only the part that says love thy neighbors.
Right. And they mean you have to love me while I act like an asshole and treat you like shit.
Exactly. There's
Okay.
Jezebel shit.
I cannot comment.
Oh.
Okay. Let's look at this. Wolfeed. Documentary filmmaker exposes the Biden administration's carefully designed child trafficking network responsible for the disappearance and exploitation of over 325,000 children.
Oh.
Y'all.
When you get a chance, I want you guys to go to InfoWars and look this up right on the front. It's actually here. Let me do this right live on air. This is live on air, everybody. You saw all my bookmarks. Did you copy them? Oh, I hit X. It was right next to it. It's right there. It's under special reports right on the front page. Click on that. I guess I could have gone backwards and not clicked on it. But anyways, so you want to watch this interview and then the documentary. I guess this is his third documentary. So Ryan Mata also details how how Trump's border policies have begun to dismantle the pedophile pipeline and save this. And they talk about one of the stories he told, and he was really pointing out how much it breaks his heart. And I haven't even dove into the documentary. I heard the interview today about the documentary, and he said just this one story that really stuck out to me as I was moving throughout the day and doing stuff, and my earbuds are in and I'm listening to the show and working on stuff. Little girl, I don't know how young she was, but she young, let's say prepubescent. Okay, maybe 7, 8 years old, chained in a basement for 2 years, gang raped almost every night.
The hell?
And he would rape her, this captor, and put out cigarettes on her arm. And make the statement that every one of those burn marks you're going to remember, you're never going to be able to forget this experience. And he would throw her a plate of food. So she's malnourished. She's severely traumatized and destroyed in her psyche. And these are the kind of fucking monsters that are out there that the Biden administration empowered to do this.
This is a threat to our democracy.
And this is the type of stuff that if
and that's the population of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yep.
325,000. I'm looking it up. I'm comparing like different
the
cities,
amount of people. So think about that.
Different cities.
A city of 325,000 people is how many kids? Kids.
That's nearly the city of Atlanta with 393,000. Atlanta, fucking Georgia.
That's how many children. They empowered these fucking demonically possessed pieces of shit to torment children. It's true what Jesus said.
Buffalo,
Say
New
it,
York.
boss.
Well,
It would be better that a man have a millstone tied around his neck and he be casting the seed and to harm one of these little ones.
Yep, exactly.
And I'm going to tell you what. I'll give prisoners this. The one group of people that don't survive very long in prison is pedophiles, child molesters, pedophiles. Because even criminals on a certain level have a little bit of a code to go, I mean, it's in Scarface, it's in the Godfather series, okay, where you don't mess with children and women and children. You keep those out. Don't fuck with them. And the Biden administration, Mr. Sniffer himself, empowered these fucking people to do that type of ungodly, demonic behavior to these children.
Fucking sick.
Still want the Epstein files to be exposed.
Oh, 100%. We all do. I think the problem with the Epstein files, I'll give them a little bit of leeway. They're working very hard to redact all of the victims because the Epstein files contain the victims.
Yeah, that's.
I think one thing that would be very good in this country is if you're convicted of being a pedophile, it's either straight to castration or death.
There you go.
I'm okay.
And I'm saying due process.
Right.
Because we have a mutual friend that was convicted of a bullshit charge.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So duly, like beyond it, not a kangaroo fucking court with some little podunk police guy that frames you, right?
Right.
There was a guy that just got out after 15 years. 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was never guilty. Maintained his innocence the whole time. Got out, and what did they say? They gave him like $50,000 a year for every year he was incarcerated. Remember that was on sitting with the No
I
Brothers.
did remember it, but if they're gonna do that, then they need to go back on how many others they did that to, and make it right to all of them.
That's why
I've been behind them walls.
That's why
I know how that feels.
Correct. And that's why our founding fathers said it would be better that 100 guilty go free than one innocent man goes to jail. And we have the highest prison rate per capita in this country. And I look at that dynamic and I go, yeah, so we need to do our absolute due diligence to convict these type of motherfuckers that would rape children. And at the least, but send a fucking message. You touch a child and you look at, we've got it.
Die.
You've got it right now so prominent that it's added to the fucking alphabet list of LGBTQ plus XYZ,
Right.
You've got minor attracted persons is one of the maps.
Fighting for
their right to sleep with a kid. You got in California, they pass a law that if you rape a child, you get a slap on the wrist and go away. If you give somebody AIDS there, you're no longer convicted of a felony attempted murder charge. You're slapped. It's all good.
But if you try to
the courts.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. The courts are totally out of control. I mean, right here in Michigan on Thursday, right? This past Thursday in Michigan, you are no longer an adult if you're 19 to 20 years old.
Okay.
And you commit a crime. Mm-hmm. All right. And these crimes that are punishable with a life sentence. So if you're a murderer and you're 19 to 20 years old in the state of Michigan, the Michigan Supreme Court libtards now say that you can't get life in prison.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
The Lord said that in those end times, everything that was right would be turned upside down.
Yeah, you had two Supreme Court justices dissenting on that case, right? Come on. You had all the liberals and Bernstein.
Bring it on.
Bernstein,
Let's not.
right? Bernstein, well, you know what came out of his mouth?
That
bunch of bullshit.
He wanted to expand it to 25.
Okay.
So if you're up to 25, you can't, you can't get
because your prefrontal cortex isn't
so
whatever the hell.
It's not fully developed.
Yeah, I've got the story. I've got the story here.
That's what they keep saying.
But when we talk about it later, for the lightning round, but I don't know. Can we go here to my computer?
No, I'm probably
I'm
gonna
just
have to
gonna
have
keep saying names of
We got to
cities
get
like
rid of gender.
Lexington, Kentucky,
too.
There we
St.
go.
Louis,
There we go.
Missouri.
It's working again.
I
It's
got
up and
Larry. I
running.
got Larry up and running.
But
Just
like this really has me pissed off. Sorry.
this right here.
325,000 thing.
325,000 children
I just
exploited.
said
Can
I'm
you
going to keep
fathom?
naming
Can you
names
fathom?
of cities whose population, Lexington, Kentucky, St. Louis, Missouri. These are places with 300 to 350,000 people, and we're talking about 325 children that were exploited.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
It needs to be said just a little louder for the people in the back.
And it's like I want to be. I want our republic, and I want all this, and I say, look,
Shit,
it needs to be
Tampa,
due
Florida.
process.
Jesus.
It needs to be a due process and afforded every defense and every right. But if you are duly convicted in a court of law by a jury of your peers for being a fucking pedophile, you're taken out back and shot in the head.
Trump, he's
I'm sorry.
building it. You know, it's that old, I always go back to this, that Kevin Costner film, Field of Dreams.
Mhm.
Say, if you build it, they'll come. He's building it.
We got to build a righteous society
it.
again.
He's getting people. He's getting Bill Maher.
Of all people.
Come on,
Yeah.
of all people. Like,
Yeah.
I just,
So this happened under Biden's administration. Again, guys, go to InfoWars.
Insane.
It's right on the front page, special report. And you know, maybe we'll have a watch party. Maybe we'll do a watch party with this documentary. Here, we'll pick a night and we'll just do a whole show and just do a watch party here. We'll have it on the big screen and do this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll all be wanting to go, you know, beat the
Throw
fuck out of
shit at the TV.
you know,
dude.
because you
know
touch
you're
a
gonna
child. Listen, I don't say this much on the show. I was molested as a kid. Okay. From the ages of 5 to 8. Now there wasn't abuse like one of these abducted childs like that.
Right.
But there was extreme manipulation that I had to work through, psychological manipulation that I had to work through.
Right.
You know? And so it's not a light and trifle thing.
No. Nor is it easy to even vomit it out.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Larry, let's try to do your lightning round. Let's see if we can figure something out here, buddy. I got you on camera. Let's see. We've got you on camera.
It's not a fun place to be. I have a bit of a disdain for the Catholic Church as to the experience that I went through. When I was 28 years old and I first started in the medical sales industry, I was sitting on a bench at St. Joe's Hospital in Ann Arbor. And this priest came up and sat down and talked to me. Father Patrick Quick, Q-W-I-K. He said, walk with me. So I walked with him, and I ended up in his office. And as soon as he closed that door, he was all over me like a wet blanket.
Wow.
Fucking faggot.
And I did everything. He was a big-ass guy.
Sorry.
Big guy.
That's insane.
I did everything I could to fight him off.
Wow.
And his phone rang, and as soon as the phone rang, I'm trying to get out the door, and I couldn't figure out how to open the freaking door. I finally got it figured out.
This time?
28.
28.
I got out to my parking lot and realized that my briefcase with my keys to my car was sitting in his office. So I had to go back.
Oh my God.
I'm standing outside of his office, and I could hear talking in there. So I thought, oh, somebody else is in there. Perfect opportunity. So I walked in. He was on the phone. He said, hold on for a minute, put it on hold. And he had to grab my briefcase and started to walk out. And he said, I'm the resident pastor here. And if you say anything about this, you'll never sell anything in the Trinity system ever, period. And I said, fuck you, and walked. But that, and you know what? The worst part about that is all the people that were close to me, my wife, I was married at the time.
Yeah.
My parents, nobody believed me. Yeah, you're full of bullshit. It's not, yeah.
It
wasn't
this
true.
thing, this image.
Yeah.
Oh, we're holier than thou, but yet we're doing the Lord's work. Yeah.
Yep.
So walking into the Catholic Church is not something I really enjoy doing these days.
Yeah,
it's understandable.
Not bad.
Okay, Larry, you ready over there with your lightning round?
Yeah, are you able to pull your...
I'm going to pull up your articles. Let's do this way, and I will go with...
Well, if you go to the Midwesterner, it's prosecutors blast state Supreme Court decision to end mandatory life sentences for young murderers.
Let's see where it's at here.
If
you're going to be sitting over there at the table, I'll have to figure this out. I was expecting you to sit at the long table today. But it's all right, buddy.
It's all my fault.
No, it's his fault. I gave him the opportunity. What is it? Court decision?
Yep.
Okay. I've got it behind me, and you've got you. We'll just go to the wall feed for the time being, and then we'll look at your pretty face a little bit later.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, Michigan prosecutors are sounding off on a state Supreme Court decision this week that could release thousands of murderers from prison.
Re-traumatizing victims' families.
Yes, that is correct. Re-traumatizing the victims' families. Okay, we listened to survivors say they need certainty and finality. Is that right?
Finality.
Yeah. Finality. There you go. In a sentences of the convicted criminals who took the lives of their loved ones. Midland County Prosecutor J.D. Brooks, president of the Prosecuting Attorneys Association of Michigan, told the Detroit News they have described the re-traumatization that results from the never-ending litigation of these cases. So what you definitely have here is, you have 7 Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
Right. And you have a conservative, that would be Justice Brian Zara, who dissented in this case.
Okay.
Right. He was joined by somebody else. I'm not sure if it was Clement or not. I'd have to look the case up. But but that's Elizabeth M. Welch, who, if I remember correctly, I think that's the Chief Justice. And she's one of the libtard majorities. There's only one conservative on the court.
Okay.
Justice Zara.
Justice Zara is the only constitutional constructionist that's there.
He's very much a constitutionalist too.
Yes, very much.
He doesn't screw around when it comes to the Constitution.
Nope, and politics doesn't get in the way of it. And it's just the Constitution says what it says, and it doesn't mean it's always going to come down in a decision that we all would approve of every single time. Most of the time. But this story and more is on the Midwesterner.news for all of our listeners to go to. Next is the top story. It says Michigan Immigration Rights Center lays off 72 staff following federal funding cuts.
Okay. Let me go to that one, Larry.
Yep.
Michigan, got to go back.
So that's 19 and 20-year-olds don't have a life sentence anymore.
Which
that
one
is
was
correct?
What one was it, Larry?
So what about the...
Well, not mandatory. I mean, they can still be sentenced to life, I think.
So what about a 15-year-old Oxford school shooter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What? Yeah. No.
Do
more.
we just let him out because prefrontal cortex and shit?
Yeah. Never.
Right.
Absolutely never.
And honestly, this is the dynamic. These are the dynamics that we're dealing with. This is they want. So you've got people locked up for innocuous, misdemeanor bullshit. We had all the J6ers locked up. We had all this other stuff.
Like the drug thing in Michigan, the marijuana thing where everybody was locked up.
And
for
then
life.
you're not gonna release
That's
all
different.
of these people that were charged with bullshit crimes, arrested for fucking back child support, or you let I spent a little time in jail one night because I forgot to pay a traffic ticket. But you're going to let a fucking murderer out?
Right. That's not what we're
You're
talking
going to let
about.
fucking murderers out because...
Yeah.
And I go, the family of Trisha still has to go up there and fight.
I was there for that entire case. I went to court every single day. I was there with the family when the verdict was read.
And they gave her, 4 years initially?
No, initially it was charged as second-degree murder because at the time, Michigan had a new law where if you kill someone with your vehicle, it could be considered second-degree murder.
Yeah.
Because a car is a weapon at that point.
Yeah.
Correct.
So she was charged originally and was convicted originally as only the second person in Michigan history to face that conviction.
Okay.
Then they later on overturned that conviction in appeals because I don't know how she doesn't fit the criteria, y'all. 0.32 alcohol level and traces of cocaine in her system and driving a rate of speed of like 80 miles an hour when the speed limit was 35.
Mm-hmm.
This is an accident that has a stoplight now. Okay. Like you can't, there's no way to be going that fast.
Right.
Like,
Right.
There should not be. But
for context, so you guys know this, how old were you, Tish?
I was 20. God, that was 2001 or 2.
Yeah.
I think it was 2.
So at the time I was for a season I was Tisha's youth pastor, youth minister, and she babysit my kids. That's how far back our relationship goes.
So that's what happened.
So at a certain point, she moves on. We're involved in ministry together. After a certain point, she starts bringing over her friend Trisha
2001
to hang out because they would still, a lot of the kids that were part of my youth ministry would come over to the house and hang out, and they would ask questions and we'd talk, but we were also just friends. But there was teachings times, but it wasn't, they would have questions, I generally, they'd have a question and I'd make them, I'd go, okay, open up to James or open up to Matthew or open up to this. And I'd go, all right, read that to me. What does that say to you? Right? Mm-hmm. So Trisha, so Trisha would be one of the kids that come over. One of your very close.
I just keep seeing this face because she would always do that.
She would always do that. And Trisha, in fact, Trisha brought me 3 or 4 limited edition Star Wars comic books at one point to give to me. Because one of the rules that I had was this is not the church. This is not a rule. We're not at church. This is not ministry time. You're coming over to pick my brain, to sit and hang out, whatever it is. If you come to the prophet, you bring a gift. Mm-hmm. So vast majority of the time, Tisha would bring me a Mountain Dew and bring my first wife a cappuccino.
French vanilla cappuccino.
And so that
sets a dynamic.
Yeah.
Like a pace.
If you're gonna, you come with an expectation to get. You come with an expectation to get something and get taught. Then you're coming with a gift. You're saying, I appreciate what you're doing to me.
That's awesome.
Or doing for me, and so it was cool. But Trisha would be there hanging out with her, and so Trisha, a month before she was going to be married, and she was awesome little girl, who. They already had an apartment with her fiance, and they refused to live together before they were married. Mm-hmm. And they were together that night at the apartment, continuing to plan for the wedding and plan their life together. And she went home maybe, I think it was around midnight. Wasn't that when it was?
It was late.
It was late. She's heading home, and this lady who is drunk off her ass with her 2 kids in the back seat.
Wow.
You said at 0.32.
It was either 0.28 or 0.32. It was somewhere right in that. I mean, and how do you get a blood alcohol content of that high?
Right.
That's what I like.
Yeah, with cocaine in their system as well.
The family at one point asked the coroners and the medical personnel how many of her bones were broken, and they replied with how many of them weren't. Because this lady T-boned her so bad.
Yeah.
The car was a pancake. Yep. The opposite direction. Okay. Yeah. This car was destroyed.
I was amazed at how well they put her together, open casket.
Right. I wasn't
pissed off most of us that knew her, that were around her on a regular basis, was she had this gorgeous, just big as life smile.
Yep.
Teeth and everything like that. And I come to the coffin there. I think I was with you and with there was 2 or 3 of us that were
with, because I was so out of it.
Yeah. And we'd come to
it was the day after my birthday.
You'll never forget.
Happy birthday.
Right.
Yeah. You come to the coffin and she's there, and I was already, the whole situation was traumatizing, but then you're just fucking pissed off to no end. You know, and we're literally in the parking lot talking about, you know, God, if you brought me in here, we're going to raise her from the dead. Those types of discussions.
I went to the funeral home.
Why don't we think about that?
I went to the funeral home with clothes, with like I was ready to go, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was ready to go, and all I could do was sit in my car and cry because I remember something that Pastor Rodriguez used to say a long time ago: if they've already gone, there's no way they're coming back because they will not leave heaven.
Oh, right.
Once they
Correct.
get there.
Correct. Yeah.
So not that you know, resurrection of the dead isn't a thing.
Yes.
But that if they're already in heaven,
yeah,
they're not going to want to come back.
So did you find a picture of Trisha?
I'm trying to go to her page.
I don't
anyway,
agree
so
with that necessarily, but
well, you understand the context. We're giving you
understand the context.
No, I'm saying if you understood the context and what it was said.
Well, I spend a lot of times with ND.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of people talk about a lot of things.
I'm trying.
So
how do I do this?
This speaks to me talking about these. They're going to release these people that have committed murder. A situation like this, and I know of the family secondhand through Tisha that the family of Trisha had to go because they overturned. Is that on the browser? Is that on the browser I told you to go to?
No, hold on. I can
throw it on the Brave browser and I'll pull it up over here.
What are we looking at?
Trisha, I wanted you to see her. She had this smile that was bigger than life. It was just
right.
I mean, she was a sweet
Let me see if
little
I
girl.
can find a better one.
All right, while you're looking at that, Larry, we're going to go to this next article, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, buddy. We had to deviate. We had to discuss that because you brought up that one. See, we tried to do a lightning round, but this appears to be a long storm.
Yeah.
All right. What are we looking at here, Larry?
Well, the Michigan Immigration Rights Center laid off 72 staff members following a federal spending cuts there. The federal funding cuts.
So explain to us this one. Let's read through this here.
Right. The Michigan Immigrant Rights Center cuts its staffing from 130 to 54 this week, following a loss of federal funding amid the largest deportation efforts in U.S. history. MIRC, which counts U.S. Rep. Hillary Shelton, Democrat from Grand Rapids, as a former employee, cited tightened immigration policies enforced by President Donald Trump's administration.
Now, for the record, people need to understand, not everyone named Hillary is a Democrat, but it's like being named Karen. You might be somebody that tracks people down and says stupid shit. So, I mean, not everybody named Hillary is a Democrat, but
not everybody named Karen.
Yeah,
not every name
is a bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the next story I'm going to is Rogers PAC starts with six figures.
Okay. I'm going to go to that one, Larry.
Yep, it's on the top. See it?
Yep. I got you.
Yeah. So all these stories and more you will find at the Midwesterner.news. So
Larry's favorite site.
It is. I spend a lot of time here. Mike Rogers' PAC is starting with off with six figures, and he's promising, to fight for the Michigan workers. A political action committee behind former Congressman Mike Rogers' U.S. Senate campaign is stepping on the gas with a new statewide ad campaign that launched Tuesday, a source exclusively tells the Midwesterner. President Trump is bringing America back, rebuilding the greatest economy in history, taking on China, and flexing American muscle across the globe, according to the 30-second spot from the Great Lakes Conservative Fund. Mike Rogers will fight alongside Trump to bring big jobs home and make our economy stronger than ever. I want to puke.
Do we really have to hear this name again?
Mike Rogers.
In a US
He's about
Senate
ready to
race.
shit, cock.
He's running again. Larry, how do you feel about this?
Why?
Why?
That's kind of what I said.
Why is this guy running?
Yes.
Why?
Why?
Did we pick up the...
Why?
John James
Oh
announcement.
gosh, I'm trying. I tried.
Do you know the first word that came out of my mouth when I saw his announcement?
Grab the F-bomb. Go ahead.
Idiot.
Oh, idiot.
That was my exact first word as soon as I saw that announcement.
I thought it was going to be fucking idiot.
Listen, you don't leave a congressional seat to run.
After 8 months?
Stupid.
What is it, 8 months?
Stupid.
This guy's ridiculous.
Into a second term.
Huh? Oh,
Yeah,
he's 8 months into
way.
a second.
No, he's like 4 months into a second term.
4 months into a second term.
Why don't you stick with what you're?
Well, if you're going to say why don't you
at.
stick to what you're good at, we should have told McDonald Rivet that too, because she would have stayed in her Senate seat.
Of course.
But I'm just saying, like, why does everybody feel like the need to jump in to the next level of hell?
Because it creates confusion.
As you're going up, like.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Mike Rogers. Why run for Senate again when you've already lost it once?
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb.
Whatever.
I'm going to go out on a limb on this one with Mike Rogers and say, why run again? Because you make a lot of money running,
right?
And you follow the guidelines of the campaign, right? Sort of. You're not hurting at the end of it. Even in a failed race.
I'm just waiting to see how many of his signatures are going to come back void.
Right. And then he goes, oh,
sorry,
okay.
I got to be honest.
And then where does the money,
that.
where does the campaign money go when it comes back void and he can't do it? Does he have to return that money to the people that supported him?
No, he has to give it away to other nonprofits.
If there's some left and he hasn't justified where they can spend it. Because I guarantee the campaign can pay for dinners, plane rides, all sorts of, well, we got to take a private plane. We got to fly around. We got to do this. We got
of course.
to do this. Oh, I got to hire a bunch of staffers. I got to hire a bunch of people. I got to do all this other stuff. Yeah. Larry, what's the next one? You crazy fucker over there.
Ooh,
I love you.
The next one. Well, let's go to this one. Study COVID lockdown mandates. Do you see that?
I do. I'm clicking on it. What the fuck is this? COVID lockdown. You guys got to see this one. COVID lockdown mandates
cause Great Lakes lamprey population to explode.
What the hell is this? All right, we got to read this one. Go ahead. You want me to read it? You're going to read
it.
The
non-native sea lamprey population is above targets in all 5 Great Lakes, and erroneous travel restrictions have lockdown mandates implementing during the COVID-19 pandemic are to blame.
No boat fishing.
A new study has found
the
number of highly noxious and predatory sea lampreys spiked after field crews were curbed in conducting sea lamprey control in 2020 and 2021 because of the life cycles of the sea lampreys. Scientists said they now see the consequences of the season.
Oh, they now see it?
Consequences?
Control. You mean like the people that are dying of cancer and from the jab and from the other stuff?
What is this python fish shit too?
We got to look at this. Dino, what are you demonstrating over there?
I'm demonstrating the fact that this doesn't work.
You're wearing a tissue mask over there?
Diaper.
A diaper, face diaper? Shit. I love the way that I absolutely loved the way that South Park mocked. They're like, you gotta put your face diaper back up.
Yes. No.
Can you go ahead and put your face diaper back on?
I can't.
Larry, continue. Crazy guy.
Well, I already went to the next.
What's the next one, Larry?
The next one is Rochester schools
eliminate
DEI. Sorry.
I do the same fucking thing, Larry.
Yeah.
it's Tourette's or ADHD or something. We know you can't handle without.
There we go. Hey, look at that! Look at that!
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That signature,
you
guys.
have them in order.
Guys, just look at the screen for a minute. Behind me, you guys over there. Doesn't that signature look very familiar to something we saw earlier?
It does.
Bill Maher.
Bill
Maher thing.
But you know what? It reminds me of every time I look at it.
Yeah. What?
Not gonna lie. Rush Limbaugh's signature.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, Donald Trump came up with a.
Sorry, I just had to point that out for a second.
No, you're right. You're right.
In there.
Dude, he's perfected that. I try to perfect mine for signing at the end of the show, but it doesn't always look as good. every
Yeah,
time.
he does.
All right, what do we got with this story, Larry?
So the Rochester Community School District
Uh-huh.
is ditching its director of diversity, equity, and inclusion in an effort to avoid the loss of $10 million in federal education funding.
But why?
You know, it's too bad Harvard didn't do that because they just lost $2 billion.
$2 billion.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
So I mean, this is great. This is great stuff. This is exactly what should be
Obama was
happening.
bitching about it.
Well, buy Skull and Bones,
Right.
322 Society.
Hopefully they don't just the Rochester Schools doesn't just reassign their piece of shit DEI person with another title. That's because that's one of the things they've been doing to avoid Trump's mandate.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. What's your next article, Larry? We're
There
going to
isn't
it.
one. That is
That's it. That's it. Your lightning round.
That's
I
my
guess lightning
lightning
has
round
struck.
for today. Yes, it is.
Check out the Midwesterner. They have no affiliation with the show, but Larry loves them. Look at Larry. Larry is a sexy beast over there.
I do like the Midwest.
There it is. Look at that, Larry. Look at Larry. I said, Larry, you can sit at the table tonight. We'll allow it. And he's like, no, I want to be at the kids' table.
Yeah, I like it over here.
He's like, I want to push somebody's buttons because everybody tries to push my buttons. You know, the good thing about Larry being over there is he can fart all he wants and nobody has to gag.
Right.
He has chased people away from the table.
We don't laugh about it. We just let it go.
Dude,
it doesn't exist.
He has chased people away from the table.
Look, I want to check this one thing.
Yeah.
You guys got the Midwesterner.
Right.
All right. I'm a fisher. All right. I like to, recreational. I'm not a sportsman, but I do like to just go throw a rod out in the reeds in a river.
Right.
You just passed it.
Where
Go
you
back down.
Right.
Study.
That's the one we just went over
COVID
before.
lockdown mandates cause Great Lakes lamprey population
Yeah,
to
that's
explode.
the one he just showed.
Yeah, that's the one we went before.
Jesus Christ. Dude.
If that's all COVID did.
Yeah. Yeah. It shows the lamprey explosion
Just
because
to put the stamp on that and to realize, no shit. The reason why we go out every season is to try to keep the shit down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But now you fucking totally.
Well, they didn't let the people that were
science. It's all agenda.
They didn't let these people go out there. Look at this. Going back to this article. Sea lampreys kill up to 40 pounds of fish. One sea lamprey kills up to 40 pounds of fish during its parasitic stage.
Jesus.
I'm going fishing on the 26th.
Right.
Shout out to the I've told you guys about this before. My buddy Brandon, his brother started skating with us. Zach passed away just recently. They're gonna do he loved to fish, he loved to hunt. He was a huge outdoor sportsman, and they got a big opening season fishing trip coming up, fishing outing. And I was like, I'm in. And I actually tried to go with Brandon and Justin even before I ever met Zach. I wanted to go fishing with them just to go out there. I'm not like you. We're recreational guys.
Right.
We go once a year if we get to go. And I said, no, I'm going to this one. And so Joe is Brandon and Zach's dad. He sent me the link to it. And I'm going on the 26th. We're going to be fishing for walleye.
Nice.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And
food. And
yeah, I'm just going to be on the boat. We're going to be on the boat and fishing like that.
Where are you going?
I think we're St. Clair, or right there in the river. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And so we're doing that fishing and like that. And I think about it. I go 40 pounds of fish, 40 pounds of fish during its lifetime. And you think about that dynamic, 40 pounds of fish. Each lamprey during its lifetime. We did a thing just recently, in December 14th this year. We did our first wild game cookout here at the Man Cave. And Justin and a whole bunch of the hockey guys, we came and we had this cookout, right? And we're cooking. There's salmon fillets, there's venison, thin sliced venison. There's all sorts. We're just cooking this and cooking that, cooking this.
Bear.
Skip
has bear.
Captain Bob brought bear.
Yeah.
And
Skip has bear sausage and
He did well. This was our first time doing it, and so this next year, the second time doing it, we're going to do it as a, or it's going to be in honor of Zach. So it's going to be the Zach Fry Wild Game Cookout here at the Man Cave. We're going to figure out the date. It'll be sometime in December. Trying to figure out because guys are hunting still. But I'm like, you guys, you got to take a break, right? And I want you to shoot something. In fact, I joked around with Zach and a few of the other guys. I was like, dude, you guys got to come to the cookout because, you know, we're going to have a blast, you know? And Justin made it. And the joke was, I was like, dude, if I come out in the morning and there's a deer hanging on my back patio over here at the Man Cave, you know how excited I'm going to be? There's no disappointment. There's no, I will be like,
put a tarp down.
Dude, you brought this is, we're going to pull the back straps right out of this puppy right now. But,
put a tarp under
it turned out,
Vicky might have a cow.
Oh no, it turned out great. And, but I'm looking forward to this fishing. And I think about this, the amount of fish that these guys catch and eat. They eat all of the stuff they catch. And these fucking lampreys, and the whole reason this lockdown shit happened.
Stupid.
You know what? I was an essential worker. One of Oscar Schindler's essential workers.
I have a shirt that proves I was an essential
I was an essential worker. And how is the guides that are keeping our fish population healthy by getting rid of the parasites that were introduced to the lakes that were not native here? How are those fucking guys?
Invasive species.
An invasive species, right? How is that not part of it? Larry, did you
can't be in a boat on a lake by
correct?
ourselves.
Larry, did you get all your words out over there?
I did.
All right, appreciate you,
Because
Larry.
COVID.
Larry, smile for the camera. Whoops. Why did that not switch? There it is. There's Dino coming back up. There we go.
I'm going to head down in just a second.
You're going to head down, Tisha? Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to do, you got.
It's like 11:15, dude.
I know, dude.
I just need to use the restroom.
I know.
Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, we're going to try to wrap up.
pee.
Oh, you got a picture?
Can I just go pee?
Did you put it on the Brave browser?
I did.
Okay. And I'm going to go to that right here. Nope, that's not on me. That's on me.
Yes, it is on you.
Larry, push button 2 on the small board.
Button 2.
Button 2 on the small board.
There we go.
Nope, that's not right.
Copy and paste it like I did the other one.
I know what it is. I pushed the wrong
Paste
button.
and go.
No, I pushed laptop.
I don't know.
Laptop cower. There's that. Laptop. No, why is that not going to that? Oh.
Is that your iPad instead of the laptop?
I want to revert back
Larry,
to this.
hold on, Dino.
Sorry.
Yeah. Larry, go to what button is it?
Why are you asking me?
Well, that should have switched it over. Larry laptop. There it is. So Dino, you probably saw this up there, Bay City, Saginaw.
This is
Talk about it. Talk about it.
This is off I-675.
Mm-hmm.
There were actually 2 of these done. The 2 on the, well, it would be the left, I guess.
I can't see
the
it.
The 2 on the left. I'm sorry, it's in a weird.
I got it. I'm going to pull it up over here on our live feed.
Okay.
Patrick can see it.
Were killed. They were
the one with glasses
killer,
by herself over here is Trisha.
Right. The 2 sisters on the other side were killed by a drunk driver also. And then there's Trisha with that smile on the other side.
That's what I wanted you guys to see.
And this was a whole situation that was done. They're with the state police and another group.
Yeah.
And they were actually recognized by Governor Granholm at the time for starting this kind of campaign. And it led to an entire whole chapter of Mothers Against Drunk Driving in Saginaw County. I was trying to get my mom to send me some of the pictures. I did an entire scrapbook about Trisha, and in Trisha's memory, it has a picture of her parents getting ready or coming out of the courtroom after the verdict was read. And TV5 actually, I think it was, captured it, or the News or something.
Mm-hmm.
Captured it and had it on the front page of the paper.
Okay.
At one point. And then I had pictures of her, like her and I at a concert that we went to.
Okay.
And just some other stuff.
You mind me asking?
Newsboys.
Newsboys.
Nice.
It's a traditional little Christian music thing that we did. But yeah, I just that was a tough one.
Right.
Not gonna lie. Like I said, right around my birthday. And I had to find out the next day. Actually, I found out in the middle of the night, but then the next day I was supposed to chaperone a trip to Cedar Point with a youth group.
Wow.
And that was one of the toughest decisions in my life. Do I go on this trip and try to act like I'm excited and have fun with a bunch of students?
Right.
Or do I stay home and possibly help deal with people that have questions or are dealing with this? And I asked my pastor at the time and my youth pastor at the time who I was supposed to go with, and they suggested that I go to Cedar Point with the kids.
Yep.
And then they told everyone as we were getting ready to, like, the bus was getting ready to pull out, they told everyone what had happened and why I wasn't like all happy and
bubbly
giddy and charming and all that. Was because of that. And so
one of the key factors I got to ask you, Tish, is did the girl that hit Trisha, killed her, did she ever express remorse? Genuine.
That's what I was trying to find, her picture or her name,
because that was one of the details that always got me. Was, from my recollection, there was never a real sense of I took somebody's life and they will haunt me. It was, well, I was too high.
I was too drunk. I don't remember anything.
You may have been too high. Don't remember anything, but you fucking own it.
Right. You have to own that shit.
Own it.
And I don't listen. Her parents are a lot more forgiving than I am. Okay, because they've forgiven her and they've spent time with her and gave her a Bible that Trisha owned, and they.
Oh wow. So they're trying that reconciliation or at least redemption.
Her dad is a major, like, deacon or something at his church and stuff.
Okay.
And in fact, I just saw him like maybe 2 months ago.
Right.
And we got to talk about stuff, and he tried to get me to come to their church. And
you're like,
I'm like, I'm not really there right now, but maybe soon. Right. But at least we got to talk about it and got to reminisce a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, she was supposed to go to jail and prison. Well, she was supposed to go to prison for life. And then it got knocked down. Actually, she could be probably getting out this year or next year, because I think they knocked it down to 25 years. Which would be, the accident was in 2001.
Okay. So
the trial would have been in 2002. So, but she would have gotten time for.
When you talked with
time
Trisha's
served.
dad, did he indicate to you that there was any sense of remorse, any sense of change?
I mean, we didn't get into all that.
Okay.
We mainly talked about like why I'm not in charge right now. But because he's forever the witness. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like
yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's
very traumatic.
They turned her Facebook page into a memorial page.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of her like baby pictures and senior pictures and stuff like that on there. And
she was just shy of 21.
Close, yeah.
Yeah. That's the type of shit that happens, guys. And I lost a cousin who was just shy of 21. Tragic car accident, not a similar situation, but tragic car accident. And my grandmother, Grandma Soika, ended up. I will say this on record. She ended up passing away from that because she never grieved properly. She developed
a rare type of leukemia, blood cancer.
Well, that was the other thing too,
is because she never grieved properly. They had her on medication. It weakened her. The medication they had her on weakened her bones, weakened her whole system, and then she ended up falling up at the cabin and broke her neck. Now that wouldn't have happened had her bones been strong, but they were weakened by the medication they had her on, and she passed away. So I directly say that the trauma that she endured, took her out.
Forever 21. Yep.
Yeah. Forever 21.
Can I say a story real quick?
Yeah.
Is it real quick? I understand the extremities and how it means to lose somebody.
Yeah.
And this is an impact on our family. We didn't see it coming. This was just well over 25 years ago now, but I just have to say this. There was a bar down at a local corner, and there was some Hispanics down there having a good time. They just got off the field, and they didn't have much, experience with our laws.
Yeah.
And they decided to steal a pickup truck, two-wheel, rear drive.
Right.
It's an old Chevy box truck.
Okay.
When they stole it, they decided to keep the lights off, and it was during the winter time. And my two cousins, who love sports, and I'm talking about, snowmobiling, snowboarding, just dirt biking, and all this stuff. Well, they decided to take their snowmobiles across the road right at the right contact while their lights were off.
Mm-hmm.
My one cousin got drug underneath the vehicle for a minute. The other one got impaled into the ditch. The one that got impaled in the ditch lived for about maybe 19 hours in ICU. So when we talk about these fuckers that were let into this goddamn country, I have something to say about it.
100%.
The one thing I didn't touch on, Trisha came to our Bible studies, and you kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But she also had a really big heart for missions.
She did.
And she had gone to Nepal, or not gone to. That was her next one that she was planning on doing, was to go to Nepal. But she had done other ones.
She'd done Mexico, and she'd done the Caribbean, hadn't she?
You'd
have to look
the
at
other picture. I was asking.
My daughter actually just came back from Nepal on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
And she was a cancer survivor.
Trisha was?
Yeah, she had leukemia when she was
little. I never
little.
knew that.
Here we go.
I probably knew that back
there
then.
There you go. You can take that picture if you want to.
Let's do that one. Is
trauma warning. Just if
this is the, I gotta make sure I push the right button. It's not that button. It is. No, it's Larry Laptop.
Larry Laptop.
It was already listed. It was already red. That's why my problem was.
Go.
That's the car she was driving?
That's the car she was driving. Can you
What was it?
It was a Ford, I want to say Tempo.
Can you do the scroll wheel and see if it'll minimize it a little bit?
A little bit.
Go in the middle of the picture and kind of scroll down and see if it makes it smaller. It doesn't,
Here,
does it? There you go. That's literally the car she was in.
That's what she was in. In the driver's seat. What driver's seat? That's the car she was in.
The expectancy of
80 miles an hour to be T-boned like that and taken out.
Yeah.
It's hardcore.
I'm just saying,
it was quick though.
We were joking because I had a Ford nearly the same color, but a little bit more red than hers.
Yeah.
And we would always get them mixed up in the parking lot at Delta at night coming out. So that was kind of like a running joke.
Wow.
About whose car, but then you see this and.
Well, we haven't covered a few quick items there. Larry, where are you at? Do you need to give your final thoughts and sign off?
I need to go to the bathroom.
Tisha's going to go to the bathroom. Patrick, how are you feeling?
Good.
Okay, because I want to make sure you got final thoughts and we got a couple other things. But Larry, do you need to?
Well, my final thought is, we need to be proactive. This Michigan Supreme Court is a threat. You've got a bunch of buffoons and morons on this court. Listen, we have Brian Zara on the court. He's a constitutional constructionist. But the rest of them are just a pack of ideological idiots and morons. They don't, this is what happens. Right? When you have a bunch of idiots and morons that don't have any prior judicial experience, they're not applying the law. They're applying their ideology.
Tyranny.
Right? This is Michigan has an ideological Supreme Court. And the court isn't supposed to be about ideology. It's supposed to be about the law, supposed to be about the Constitution. It is justice is supposed to be blind,
right?
And this court is far from blind, except for maybe Justice Bernstein, but he's blind to reason, logic, accountability, and the Constitution.
Well, he's probably still chasing an ambulance somewhere.
Probably. He got
the Bernstein advantage there.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just terrible, and we're gonna suffer as a state because of it. I mean, I hate to see what's gonna happen. Once some of these cases start going up the chain, with all these ridiculous laws that the Democrats proposed in the last Congress or. The last Michigan House and Senate, their terms, and then with the things that are coming up, this ranked choice voting, which if ranked choice voting comes to Michigan, I'll see y'all later. You can write me in Florida.
All right,
I'll send you.
Yeah, because at that point, I'm not going to waste my time voting anymore.
Larry, come over and sign my paper if you got to go, buddy.
All right. Good night, everybody.
We love you, bro. Let's do this. We're going to give the overhead shot. I got my paper right here. Larry's going to come over here. He's still got his headphones on. What are you doing, Larry? Are you coming over to sign?
Yep.
Okay, buddy. This is Larry, and I'm going to scoot back. Here's the pen head. Listen, guys. Let me do this. This is my drink video. So look at this. See that? That is a pirate skull mug, okay? And if you don't know, Tisha painted this when she said that earlier in the show. She painted this where she does the paint pours. And so you put the mug upside down and she poured it and did all this stuff. And I'm like, I want that to be our colored pens that everybody uses to color their paper with. I want that to be the mug on the table. And so Larry has picked his color. We're going to go to the overhead, Larry. And there he's signing the paper. He's a sexy beast. There you go. Larry is signed, and he's released from the show. You drank iced tea. What are you falling over for?
Talking about my mug again?
I am. I talked about your mug. Love you, Larry. Appreciate you pushing buttons over there. You always push my buttons no matter what's going on. But I appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you. We're not doing a show this Sunday. It is Easter Sunday. I hope everybody has a blessed and awesome Easter. We'll be cooking.
Easter,
we'll be cooking.
He has risen.
Hallelujah.
We'll be cooking and hanging, and the kids are going to run around and the yard and do all that stuff. Larry, will you click that mic? So I'm not hearing an echo over there, buddy. Thank you. Just mute that mic. I don't have that. I didn't put that button over here yet. Number your tower mic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick. How you feeling over here, buddy?
Good.
This one has loud, and louder. Sorry.
Huh?
My ears have loud, louder, and louder.
Loud, louder, and louder.
Loudest, yeah.
Your ears got loud?
This thing is very loud.
Oh, did you turn your thing down?
Yeah. But it's either off or
Oh, okay. All right. Did Cap just say language? Oh, Tim was asking, did Cap just say language? Yes, he did.
I wasn't here.
Well, no.
It's not my fault for once.
Where was it at? I have the button here. I have the button. Was it in Tropic Thunder? No, it's not in Tropic Thunder. It can't be there.
All right. I'm on again.
Oh, is it here? Yeah.
Shit! Language. Wait a second. No one else is going to do what the fact Cap just said. Language. I know.
Just like we talked about earlier.
Okay. Language. Yeah, we got these buttons. Patrick, this is part of your final thought, buddy?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the. I'm gonna go to this wall feed, and there it is. What do you got to say about this, Patrick? Is your final thought, and then I'll get your signature when you're done.
Discussion about illegal immigrants and Trump trying to oust them out of the country, and a big pushback from these libtards about everybody needs a fair trial.
Okay,
this is how much time. They're concerned about the illegal criminals that have come into this country.
Yeah,
and this is comparing time that the mainstream media is given to each one of these. Rachel Morin was killed. Her trial coverage is 0 minutes. This guy from Maryland who was wrongfully deported, so they say, an entire hour. It's just ridiculous.
It is.
Here's another one. The guy says, there are over 15 million illegal aliens. If every one of them go to trial, it would take centuries to remove them. So
don't take them to trial. You're here illegally. You're deported. Goodbye.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And this is a bit of argument that I've had with some liberal folks. They just can't seem to get their brain wrapped around it.
It's hard to hear when you have shit in your ears because you've got your head up your ass.
Yeah,
it's a little difficult.
It's true.
I'm just saying.
It's very critical.
Yeah.
Wash the brown ring off their neck before they have
Okay. Tell us how you really feel.
Around their neck.
All right, Patrick, give me the. There's the overhead shot. Signature, Patrick. All right, Tisha.
How many final thoughts am I allowed?
You know what? I know Patrick's probably is probably ready to go. Are you ready to go? You want to hang for a minute?
I can hang for a couple more.
Okay, you give your final thoughts, Tisha, because we didn't touch on. There was a bunch of stuff we didn't touch on. I was going to touch on 9/11's popped up. There's a bunch of other stuff that's popped up, but I don't want to prolong us here. We can move on. We can do it for another show. But the lies, just the absolute lies that they've told, it's amazing. How about this one?
Oh gosh.
Bezos Blue Origin launches all-female crew featuring Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, and Gail Knight into space. Okay, from the headline, and this is InfoWars, and they're being generous, it sounds like this was such a momentous thing, right?
Didn't they cover it live on whatever that morning show is?
Yeah, so they launched into space, okay, one of these Bezos rockets. Do you know what actually happened? They were in quote-unquote space for 11. The ride took 11 minutes. I've been on fucking roller coasters that lasted longer than this shit. Okay? Katy Perry and her female crew, female celebrity crew, blasted off into quote-unquote space. It would be a total sham if if G-Force wreaked havoc on her implants, Botox, and fillers. Damn. So all of the body work she's had done, you could come back with your tits down by your ankles because your implants got dislodged. But here's the thing: 11 minutes. You were in quote unquote space for 11 minutes. Wow. You didn't break into space. You didn't.
11
and it was bullshit. And then when they come back, they pop the hatch. Listen, you know what you did? You went up in a vomit rocket. Do you know what a vomit rocket is? I'll give it to you for the people that are out there. A vomit rocket is when you go into an airplane and then the airplane goes up and then the airplane takes a quick dive and you're weightless for a little while. Well, you're not actually weightless. You are in a metal tube and the plane itself is falling faster than you are, and so you appear weightless. This is how they film movies like Apollo 13. This is how they film movies like Interstellar. What's the one with McConaughey? That was McConaughey's the Interstellar. Sandra Bullock. What was that one called? Where she gets Mars. No, not Mars. What was Sandra Bullock?
Oh yeah. It's newer.
Yeah, it's a newer one.
It's 3 years ago.
It was a really good movie, but the reality is the way that they film that footage is by going up in a vomit comet. And so these planes just do this thing where they go up and they come down, and they go up and they come down, and they go up and they come down. And as they're coming down, that's when they shoot the footage of people being weightless. When actually they're just floating inside of a tube.
Let's talk about how they totally
Get your mic on. Get your mic on.
The inertia of impact, right? When you're in space, and all of a sudden some kind of impact happens, and it revolves, and it goes all the way around, right? And then it comes back as a blast within moments later, while they're all peacefully sitting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's flink, 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 and everything just destroys, and it just keeps revolving around this outer atmosphere.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
It's all ridiculous.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. All right. So that was one thing. Another one that I want to touch on. Where's my paper? Because I can't read.
It's over here.
Let me do this one real quick.
I signed it, but I have two final.
You got two final thoughts. I want to make sure we touch on this. I want you guys to go check this out. 31 years. Here it is. 31 years into the the InfoWars saga, the majority of the population now knows that 9/11 was a multi-international intelligence agency attack to usher in a new world order. They had a great interview with, Tucker Carlson had a great interview with Congressman Kurt Weldon. And Alex Jones breaks this down in a report on here on InfoWars. Here he is. There's that guy. He's lost like 60 pounds and looks like he slimmed down. He's almost a middleweight. He slimmed down to a middleweight. What you got there, Patrick? You got a tasty sipper right there? No, right here.
Oh yeah, that's Lefroy.
Oh, you got some Lefroy left.
Well,
I thought you finished. Oh, you did finish off the McKellen.
I just final shot the McKellen.
Okay.
This was my birthday present 2 months ago, over 2 months ago. So I've been savoring this.
Nice. Beautiful. So anyways,
True conservative.
there's that interview right there with Tucker Carlson, and he goes hardcore on it. Let's listen in real quick. Just let's hear this.
In charge of special operations on horseback was asked in this award-winning book, became a movie, on page 27, General, what were your thoughts when 9/11 happened? And he said, within seconds, I knew who had done the attack, and I knew it involved Mohammed Atta. The Inspector General for the Pentagon files a whistleblower paper. I have a copy of it. I'll give it to you. His name is John Crane. He asked for protection because his boss is in DIA. Refused to allow him to become a whistleblower when he told them that he was told to lie to the Congress. He was told to misinform the Congress. I have that in writing, Tucker. The 9/11 Commission is a cover-up. 1,000% cover-up. Zelikow was the lead of the cover-up.
Philip Zelikow was the
Philip Zelikow. He was handpicked by Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah, that's the crazy shit that's going on there. So dive into that at your own leisure. And was there something else? Oh, let's see. I covered the crew. Oh, the press secretary. I gotta touch on this one, guys. I gotta touch on this one real quick, and then Tisha's gonna give her final thoughts. Dean's gonna give his final thoughts, and we'll get out of here. We'll let you guys go to sleep. The press secretary at the White House tells these fuckers.
I like her.
Dude, she's awesome.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So what happened is. So what happened? So let me say, hey man, what happened was.
What happened?
Listen, what happened was.
What happened?
The White House press secretary. She berates the media for defending MS-13 illegal.
As she should.
You'd think we deported a candidate of Father of the Year. All right, let's hear a little bit.
The Democrat and media outrage over the deportation of Abrego Garcia, an MS-13 El Salvadorian illegal alien criminal who is hiding in Maryland, has been nothing short of despicable. Based on the sensationalism of many of the people in this room, you would think we deported a candidate for Father of the Year. That's because, unfortunately, many in this country care more about this quote-unquote Maryland father, a legal alien MS-13 gang member, than a Maryland mother and an American citizen who was brutally murdered at the hands of a different illegal alien. Of course, I am referring to Rachel Morin. And
That's
if you didn't see yesterday,
that's the one that you pointed out, Patrick.
Yes.
That didn't get any coverage whatsoever.
Right.
a Maryland jury found illegal alien Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez guilty of murdering Rachel Morin in August of 2023. She was a 37-year-old mother of 5 who was jogging in an otherwise safe community northeast of Baltimore when this monster ambushed, strangled, and beat her to death before stuffing her brutalized body in a tunnel drain. The Morin family finally got justice yesterday, but they will never get Rachel back. Our hearts go out to Rachel's family, her 5 children, and her mother, Patty, who has suffered the unimaginable loss of her daughter.
How do you not get fucking irate and angry and just, I don't know.
It just keeps, this is the gift that keeps on coming. This is the same damn thing that happened at Trump's speech when, they gave honor to a 13-year-old boy who had brain cancer and he'd survived it. And these fucks from the left sat there on their asses like nothing was happening. How?
Right.
And now I will own that one.
Yeah.
I'll own that one.
And Trump had the fucking head of his Secret Service come over and deputize him.
Yep.
That's honoring that young man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, and then you listen. Did you catch the couple of stuff later when he's there at the White House? Extremely intelligent, highly articulate, talking about what he was doing. I'm like, holy this kid's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, it was great. All right, Tisha, let's go to you and get some final thoughts. I exhausted my my list on here. We're gonna expose more and more lies on the show. I like what Larry likes to do. We touch on some new stuff. That's great. I also want to go back and do a lot of historical stuff from time to time, and that takes it takes a little bit of a deep dive. We got to prove that Paul McCartney is not the original guy from the band. We got to go down those roads and deal with that stuff. Tisha, what do you got over there, hon?
So we talked a little bit before we came up to the show.
Okay.
About the ice storm in North Michigan. It wasn't even in the UP. I don't know if this will go to
the
it.
Counties that
What do you want to go
to? Back a couple months ago when we had all that depot.
A month ago.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't just Oscoda County though.
Yeah.
But
they're threatening.
But now they're threatening the linemen who are diligently trying to get power restored to everyone because it's not yet. I have family members who still don't have power, and it was March 31st.
Okay. Do you have that pulled up?
And
I don't see it.
Yeah, I have an article pulled up.
Is it on the Brave?
Yes.
Let me see if it goes to it. Yep, we got it. Go ahead.
So the problem is that now these linemen are facing death threats from people who are upset because their power is not on yet.
Wow.
Guys, these people are driving down roads that still have trees across them. They are driving down roads that still have electrical lines across them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people are doing everything they can at a rate of speed that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're comparing this to like a hurricane, like level 4 or 5, and it was ice, not water by itself. Okay. Like, there's entire forests that were cut down to like nothing.
Trees snapping at middle base.
I mean, if I pulled up my cousin's Facebook page, I could show you what her driveway looked like.
Yeah.
When they're still working to remove trees, but at least her driveway is clear. And at least she has a wood stove so they can survive.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, why go to all that and then threaten the lives of the people who are trying their best, working 24 hours a day,
right,
day after day after day for 2 weeks now, and you're gonna fucking get pissed off at them?
Because we got a lot of selfish
there's
fucking
not
people.
a lot of things that you can do. So
Right.
yeah, the sheriff in Lenawee County, Presque County, had to do this whole Facebook video about like how those threats are going to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I have a cousin who is a lineman. Like, these people work hard.
Yes.
Day after day. And now in these kind of conditions, they're still working day after day.
Yep.
and you're going to threaten them. Like, how is that going to get your power on even faster? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. This is...
You know what you got real quick, and then we'll go back to Tisha's second one.
Put it into perspective, linemen. These men, when they train, they learn how to hoist themselves up with claw boots and strap, claw, get up there.
Right.
Okay. You're not always going to have a basket that's going to reach to where you have to be.
Right.
You have to put
They're risking life and limb.
You have to put the work in.
Yeah. They're risking life and limb. They could be zapped at any moment.
Boss, do we know what it means to put the work in?
Fucking right.
Yes, we do.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, these people
Calm
are
down.
hardworking.
Have the
Like,
patience.
get out of your, like, it's all about me mindset and realize that the world doesn't revolve around you right now. Right now, like, the thing I'm kind of pissed off about the situation, besides people threatening linemen, is that Governor Whitmer waited till her visit to the White House 4 days ago, or whatever it was, to ask for federal help.
Whitmer.
I get that she declared a state of emergency almost immediately from the state of Michigan. But why did it take so long for her to ask?
I heard more about the fucking bridge being closed because of ice than I did about all the people's plights.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing as that happened down the hurricane victims throughout the lower, in Georgia and North Carolina who got fucking hit. We heard more about this other bullshit than we did about them. You know what I heard about it? I heard about it from people on our feeds that got in and did independent reports because they wouldn't fucking cover it.
TikTok. North Carolina hit, right?
Right.
I was right there. I just signed on to TikTok. I never had it in my life before. And all of a sudden, all of this is happening, all real footage.
Yeah.
You got people on the fucking line. You got people on the ground. Everybody's there. Just like literally everything's coming up. And then all of a sudden what happens? Oh, we need to figure out how to get TikTok away from the Americans.
Yeah, shut it down.
Right?
Just like Twitter.
Did you?
You got it over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with Larry laptop. There it is.
That's from my cousin's road, I think, or driveway. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. No, I saw.
I mean,
we played. I think we played it last.
Look at the dynamics of the ice and the moisture that's on them limbs.
We played it. I think we played a couple videos.
Insane.
This is out of control.
I think we played a couple videos last Tuesday of just trees falling and stuff like that. So we did profile it. We did talk about it. But it's still people are still without power.
I mean, Whitmer went on trips around the world.
Of course she did.
Before she asked for federal relief.
Come on.
Yeah.
Before
come on. I mean, we had Kamala Harris who was propped up.
There.
We had Kamala Harris who was propped up for as a presidential candidate ousting Biden, who said,
"You're off me, right?
You're the border czar, and you've never been to the border." She goes, "But I've never been to other places either. So what's your point?" I've never been to other places either.
This is their driveway.
Why wouldn't the governor of Michigan go overseas for a trip instead of taking care of her state? I mean, that makes sense to nobody. Why the fuck are you overseas hobnobbing with people instead of being at your own fucking state, taking care of your people? Because you don't actually fucking care.
Don't give a shit.
You're a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
This is, I mean, it's just.
You got more on there? I
wanted the land grab issue.
Keep clicking through.
You know,
they have a
throwing
Woodstone,
these
so
images and what's going on here.
Well, I mean,
just 4 weeks ago, I seen it, and there was a short of it about how. Well, we need you to get out of your homes.
This is their yard.
Because we don't think that your generators are going to stand to this. We don't think that you're going to be self-sufficient. We don't think you need to move out of your homes. Did we not hear that from North Carolina?
Right.
Huh?
Right. It was all a land grab.
Stop. Let's fucking stop.
This is them trying to clear the driveway.
Like, no. This land grab shit's done.
Look at that one. I'm trying to clear the driveway. There's people. You know what? On one hand, it is disgusting what the government's doing. On the other hand, it's pushing more and more people to be self-sufficient and go, fuck you. I can't depend on you. I'm done with you. Tisha, what's your second final thought before I go to Dean and we close it out?
my second final thought was
I got
go ahead.
Dale's pointing it out. One, they were passengers for 11 minutes. Yeah, it was ridiculous. They weren't astronaut heads. But he also pointed out that throughout the state of Michigan, through the northern part of the lower and the upper, a lot of the upper peninsula through this ice storm, the maple syrup industry is ruined. It is ruined for this season, and maybe a long time, because trees are decimated.
They're gone.
The maple syrup season, there were places
like literally cut in half. One of the forests up there.
Yes, and
they're half trees.
There were people that do maple syrup, companies that do maple syrup for a living, that were decimated, completely destroyed. Like the trees fell on the houses, the what do you call it? The cookhouses where they take.
Yeah.
So if you don't know this, to get 1 pound of or 1 gallon of maple syrup, it takes 10 gallons of maple sap. You have to boil it down and boil it down and boil it down. You have to do a good process so you don't burn it. There's a whole process of this. It's destroyed. Watch your true maple syrups go through the roof in pricing, because supply and demand. People are still going to want their maple syrup, and it's been destroyed.
And again,
Tisha, second.
sorry.
What? No, go ahead, dude.
Well, I say, that just goes right in the lines of how the FDA sticks their talons in.
Right.
And they say, oh,
well, let's make
they're trying to do something fucking more organic and more pure.
Let's make it out of corn syrup now.
Let's do weather control.
Make it out of corn syrup.
Sorry, I don't mean to smack.
Yeah, no, it's a freak thing. All right, your second final thought there,
So
Tish.
my actual final thought.
All right, give it to me.
As that.
See, I had to do a new splash.
We talked earlier about it being like Easter week and stuff like that. And, so I finally caught President Trump's remarks about what we call Holy Week.
Okay.
And he says, we will never waver in safeguarding the right to religious liberty, upholding the dignity of life, and protecting God in our public square.
Okay.
He continued, as we focus on Christ's redeeming sacrifice, we look to his love, humility, and obedience, even in life's most difficult and uncertain moments. This week, we pray for an outpouring. This is Donald Trump, you guys. This week, we pray for an outpouring of the Holy Spirit upon our beloved nation.
Oh, yeah.
We pray that America will remain a beacon of faith, hope, and freedom for the entire world. And we pray to achieve a future that reflects the truth, beauty, and goodness of Christ's eternal kingdom in heaven. He didn't say kingdom of the United States. He didn't say kingdom of Washington, D.C.
Right.
He said kingdom of heaven. An outpouring of the Holy Spirit, people.
Wow. That is
your
powerful.
president,
a lineage.
Your president
into fruition.
just said that he's praying for an outpouring of the Holy Spirit on this nation.
Did he not?
I can't. Like, how do you argue with that?
Did he not get? So the word is that he, obviously the Kim Clement prophecy.
Yes.
But also, did it not say that he would be filled with the Holy Spirit?
Yes.
In office. And so I believe he's been fully baptized in the Holy Spirit. He was always open.
Yeah.
To the prayers and people laying hands on him, and could feel the Spirit. But then when he got baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit, you hear it in that prayer right there.
He says, during this sacred week, we acknowledge the glory of Easter Sunday cannot come without the sacrifice Jesus Christ made on the cross. The president said this. In his final hours on earth, Christ willingly endured excruciating pain, torture, and execution on the cross out of a deep and abiding love for all his creation. Through his suffering, we have redemption. Through his death, we are forgiven of our sins. Through his resurrection, we have hope of eternal life. Your president just preached the gospel.
That's fucking awesome.
on so many media outlets.
Is that a Twitter?
That's heavy.
No, that was the presidential address.
Yes.
Oh, when was this? Yesterday?
Honors Easter with the observance it deserves.
When did you say this?
Had it been yesterday.
No, it was the 13th. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 days ago.
But that's the headline was Trump Trump champions Jesus' miraculous resurrection in Palm Sunday message, vowing to, quote, defend the Christian faith.
Wow. That is
Trump
phenomenal.
makes Holy Week proclamation.
And that's the phenomenal thing is Trump, just like all of us,
acknowledging
I got a smile on my fucking face for once.
Acknowledging Jesus Christ as the living Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the headline.
Yes.
Wow.
God will
I mean, I get it. It's Fox News or whatever, but still, like, how do you not understand
exactly
that there's more going on here than, listen, I've already said on this podcast more than once, I'm not his biggest fan. I'm not 100% in lockstep with every single thing he's ever said.
That would be a cult.
This, however,
phenomenal.
I'm cool with this.
Yeah. to be a lockstep, to be a lockstep and not have any disagreements is a cult, and you're being brainwashed. If you admire that he's 80-90% of exactly who God created him to be, I mean, that's phenomenal. Dino.
Yes.
Final thoughts. Sign my paper, my friend.
So I want to take us back. I want to do this. All right. This is wisdom's call. It's a proverb.
Okay.
Anyway, it lines up with everything because the Lord is awesome. With what I've been doing.
I didn't go over it. Go ahead. No, you're good. I didn't.
In the last year, I have been to such a place. And the Lord brings it to me, and when I'm working, like today, I was sitting there, and well, not sitting, I was on my knees. But I'm doing boss's grout right here in the man cave. I wish we'd get a shot on. We.
That's the pre-plan that we gotta work on.
We're gonna work on that. But anyways, in this whole thing, I'm like, Lord, I'm getting ready for this podcast. What do you want me to bring? And I went through different phases. I went through Psalms. I went here, went there. I went to Isaiah 40. Beautiful. A call back to God's people, promising. But, he brought me right here just at the end. He said, Proverbs chapter 8.
Okay.
Please let me entertain you. Does not wisdom call out? Does not understanding raise her voice? At the highest point along the way, where the paths meet, she takes her stand.
Yeah.
Besides the gate leading into the city, at the entrance, she cries aloud. To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all mankind.
To those who are simple.
You who are simple, gain prudence.
Yeah.
You who are foolish, set your hearts on it. Listen. For I have trustworthy things to say. I open my lips to speak what is right. My mouth speaks what is true. For my lips detest wickedness. All the words in the mouth are just, none of them in crooked or perverse. To the discerning, all of them all right. They are upright. Those who have found knowledge, choose my instruction instead of silver.
Oh, that's a good one.
Knowledge. Rather than choice gold.
Choice gold, yeah.
For wisdom is more precious than rubies. And nothing you desire
can compare with her. I fucking love it, dude.
Boy.
Listen.
A lot of truth in that.
A lot of truth in that. Yeah. Why did we lose the camera?
Uh-oh.
So my final thought is hallelujah.
Yeah.
That we have a president right now that is saying those words
100%.
At the top of a headline.
It's wisdom.
It is.
God brought this to us
so
that we could give this to the people.
On Palm Sunday. I mean, how cool is that?
Oh, man, it lines right up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dino. With
yes,
that.
Sir.
And I will encourage everybody and tell you, look, go there. You got stuck in a minute. Hand me that. I'll say this. You want to start somewhere, you want to get grounded and rooted in your faith. Not to be religious, not to be an asshole to people, but to figure out who you are and what your purpose is and who God created you to be. It's just as simple. Today is the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Read Proverbs 15. Tomorrow, read Proverbs 16.
Cool.
The next day, read Proverbs 17.
Oh,
and you know what? If you miss a day, you don't get into condemnation or guilt that you somehow you failed God. Just look at the calendar and go, well, today is this. Because there's 31 Proverbs and there's average of 30 to 31 days in a given month. right? Other than February. And it's so easy. I got to the point in my life where I would read, if it was the 15th, I would read 14, 15, 16. And then it's easy to do. There's 150 Psalms. You can do 5 Psalms a day according to the date. You just do a little quick calendar thing. So if it's the 15th, I can't even do the math off the top of my head, but you would read the equivalent of the 15th of those 5 Psalms. So here's the easy way. If it's the first of the month, you would read 1 through 5. It's the second, you would read 6 through 10. And you do that. And I got into that mode. And I'll tell you what, the Lord instructed me to do that. Read a proverb a day. You know why? Because he said, proverb a day will keep foolishness away. And I love Proverbs 8 because it personifies women, wisdom, not only as a woman, but also as something so desirable. And it speaks to the heart of men, not just women, right? It does to women, but it speaks to the heart of a man, because when you start to equate how attractive and if I can say this irreverently, sexy wisdom is. When you go, you know what? I know when I see that pretty girl that no matter how righteous I may be in my heart, how much I'm faithful to my wife, when I see that hot girl go by, there's something that's triggered within me. And for Solomon to equate wisdom in his writings in Proverbs to that attractiveness, and you realize that's how it should spark in me when I hear Patrick, Dean, Tisha, maybe Larry.
He's not here to defend himself, so we'll go with it.
He had some good rips.
He did. No, when I hear somebody, we were talking about Dennis Marburger, who was just recently on the show.
Yes.
With Dan McKnight,
man.
Dan McKnight, and Shane Trejo.
Shane.
But when Dennis Marburger, when he sits there, he'll sit there unassuming, just quiet, and then all of a sudden he'll open his mouth.
But
and he'll just start sharing stuff, and you're like, dude,
you got to shut up.
It's like, it's like, do we have that same, not in a fleshly sense, but in an emotional sense? Do we have that same attraction to that? Going, oh my God, wisdom's coming out of that person right now. Mm-hmm. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I think of people that just don't get that. And I'm like, read a proverb a day, because it'll start, just start there.
Amen.
And then you go down this flow, because that's what the whole Proverbs opens up, but Proverbs 8 is one of my absolute favorites.
Oof.
Wisdom dwell together with. Yeah, I love, do it. Well, and you were reading, well, I don't know what version you're reading.
NIV.
New
International Version.
Right, but it was what's the copyright's probably
You noticed that,
in the
boss?
2000. Yeah. It had to be a slightly newer international version, because I had the 73.
Yeah. Well,
I was in the.
I've read many Bibles.
Yeah.
But
the 73 version, I could tell there was a couple nuanced words that were, because I was like trying to read it with you in my just out of my.
I had KJV
Your
pulled
memory
up on
is
Blue
with
Letter,
that.
and it wasn't.
But this,
Yeah.
It
wasn't tracking.
New King James. I'm bringing that. This is
I love
interesting that
King
you
James.
say this, because I just finished Psalms last week. I'm doing this thing where I'm writing the Bible from cover to cover.
Okay.
Just finished Psalms last week, and I started in Proverbs this week.
Proverbs is fucking awesome, dude.
And I'm just getting
Let's not
into
forget,
it.
it's awesome.
I never heard anybody
awesome.
say that, where you should read, one per day.
Yeah.
In accordance with the date that you're,
It's such an easy discipline.
Yeah.
Right.
Coming into youth group and telling us not to read anything in the New Testament until we started with Paul's epistles first.
Don't read the Gospels. Don't read this other. Go to into Paul's
Genesis
letters
and Deuteronomy and all until you get a handle
Old Testament
on who you are from Paul's epistles.
Right.
Yeah.
Like read those first.
Right.
Yes.
And understand who you are first.
This is a
and
man
then
who
go
didn't
back.
see Christ, but
and
yet turned his ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I was like, look, you got to figure out the relationship dynamics before you go back and get the historical context.
Right.
It's amazing.
He never met Christ.
Well,
but he was convicted.
Yeah, during his earthly ministry.
Right.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So here's I will sign, guys. My final thought, I think I said it pretty much with Dino's, jumping on Dino's thing. This was an awesome show tonight. We're exposing lies. You know what? I'm going to tell you this. Here's my final thought on this. A lot of times you expose lies by living the truth.
Yes.
And when you live the truth and you are who God created you to be, and you're not pretending to be something you think you should be to please somebody else. Now there's a level of pretending to be something you think you need to be because you're working it out. That's fine. That's honorable.
Correct.
But when you're pretending to be something that you think you should be because you don't have a clue, but this person over here is putting pressure on you to act a certain way, you're not living. You can be wrong and still be authentic, moving towards being right. I can be wrong, but be authentically moving towards trying to be right. But I can't be inauthentic and be right.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm inauthentic, I'm automatically wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that a broken clock cannot be right twice a day. But that's based on the observer. That broken clock is only right twice a day because the observer at that moment references another clock and says, well, that clock's actually right at this very moment. Doesn't mean the clock in and of itself happened to yell at you at that moment that goes, I may be broken, but right now at this very second, I'm right. Doesn't work that way.
I don't.
So when we say even a broken clock is right twice a day, we're not saying it because the clock itself somehow is right. We're saying it because there are people out there that get it right every once in a while, but it's based on the observer identifying it, not based on the clock itself. And so there are a lot of people out there, you're living inauthentic lives. Not most of our audience is pretty savvy. We got great people out there, but you're living, there's other people out there, you're living inauthentic lives and you're not true to yourself. I tried to remove cuss words from my vocabulary. You know what is more important for me to remove a lot of other religious and negative words from my vocabulary. Am I perfect in that? Absolutely not. James, pretty much the Proverbs of the New Testament. James says, if a man is never at fault in what he says, he's a perfect man, able to keep his whole body in check. That's not me. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. You know what? I'm going to make decisions. I'm going to do actions, and I'm going to say things, of course, that are not perfect, that are not appropriate, that may be over there, but you continually work at that. And you don't work at that to try to please somebody else. You work at that because you want to sleep at night. You want to be at peace within yourself. You don't want to live in regret and fear and anger and resentment.
And it doesn't exist.
You want to live in a place where you know that you did the best that you could. Not perfect. Nobody ever did the best to be perfect. Otherwise, practice would not be necessary. You do the best that you can to be your authentic self. That's what we all need to do, and that's truly how we expose the lies out there. You live the truth to the best of your ability. You live it. Be the example. I get so annoyed and have to work on myself about being annoyed about keyboard warriors who are telling everybody else how to live. You know what? If you know how to live, if you've got it all figured out, your first job should be to shut the fuck up and live it.
Be a listener.
I got to quote James: be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to become angry. Oh, I'm angry because this person, and I'm going to tell that person, and I'm going to do this. No, be slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to become angry. That's to the righteous person. That's to the person that's got a relationship with God, that knows who they are. They're instructed to be slow to speak. Go through Proverbs. Dean read Proverbs for his final thought. Okay, go through Proverbs over and over and over again. It talks about how the wise man keeps his peace, holds his tongue, does not speak in the assembly.
Amen.
But the fool delights in airing his own opinions, blurting it out, sharing these things. Now, I happen to have a platform that I created by the grace of God.
Amen.
So I do sit up here and speak. But you don't have to tune in. Nobody else is obligated to show up. So when you do tune in and I say something, I'm living the example out in front of you, and you can take it or leave it. But this is how we do it. Live your authentic self. Be your best. I hope all of you have a blessed and honorable Easter weekend with your family, gather around, love on somebody, grab them, hug on them, kiss them.
The entire Easter week.
Actually.
This is Holy Week.
Holy Week, yeah.
Got Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday.
Be obedient.
100%. Love on somebody, embrace them, whatever your stuff is going on. Have a blast at it. Enjoy your family, celebrate. Don't devolve into stupid, petty things and arguments and stuff like that. Embrace it. Be happy. Sometimes you gotta manufacture happy, not to be fake, but because sometimes you need to shut the fuck up.
Sometimes I enjoy debating with the libtards and kind of making me
He says that now, but he's walked in and he goes, I told these couple of friends I'm not talking to you anymore.
Anyways, before you end this show, Jeremy, could we please stand up and have prayer?
Yeah.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Well, you don't have to.
No, I'm thinking of camera shots.
No, yeah, we're good. No, we're got it on there. We just see the back of our heads.
Hey, brother, could you lead this?
Yeah. Lord, we just thank you so much for how patient and gracious you are with each and every one of us. I ask, Lord, that you would inspire us by your Spirit to be the best that you've created us to be, that we rise to that challenge, that we understand we are but flesh and we will make mistakes, but that you have empowered us to be purposeful, to be happy, to be a blessing to other people. So, Lord, we thank you so much. And I lift up each and every one of those that tune into this show. And I speak a blessing over each and every one of you, that you just have an awesome time this weekend and you reflect on how much Christ has done for you or wants to do for you. And that you just embrace the Lord and say, Lord, I don't know it all. Lead, guide, and direct me by your Spirit so that I can be who you created me to be and shine the light to others, to be the example to them. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all that stuff. Go to thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. Pick up some products on there. They're awesome products. They're healthy stuff. They're phenomenal things. I use a ton of the products. We're going to do one whole show where we just kind of profile some of that stuff. But either way, take the time to go over there and check that stuff out. And we will catch you guys next Tuesday, because we're not going to have a show on Sunday because it's Easter Sunday. And I just pray that you guys would have a blessed time. Amen. All right. We'll catch you guys next time.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude,
that's an egg.
seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with hot cakes?
A sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Yeah. Never apologize and never explain.